announced on Thursday that they had seized more than 6 million paper ballots and 100 ballot boxes at a warehouse. The company that owns the sites denies that what was seized was related to the Catalan referendum, rather saying what was seized were the ballot boxes and papers that were provided regularly to the FC Barcelona soccer team. FC Barcelona confirmed that the company indeed does make such provisions, but cannot confirm if it was their ballot boxes that were taken. The Spanish government claims that referendums are inherently undemocratic. Spanish Foreign Minister Alfonso Dastis claimed separatists were using Nazi tactics to intimidate opponents, adding, "Referendums are a weapon of choice of dictators." The UN has criticized Spain for cracking down on Catalonia's public. Catalan leaders insist that they are confident the referendum will be held in an orderly fashion, irrespective of the Spanish police actions. For over 40 years, Roberts & Roberts Brokerage has been a trusted source for buying and selling precious metals. Gold, silver, platinum, and palladium. They don't feed the banks. They're Bitcoin preferred and have removed the minimum purchase amount for all orders paid in the digital currency. Call Roberts & Roberts Brokerage today for knowledgeable advice on buying and selling precious metals and a forward-thinking approach to new technologies. 800-874-9760 or visit online at rrbi.co. UPI reports a federal judge in Louisiana has ruled against an anonymous police officer trying to sue the Black Lives Matter movement. The unnamed Baton Rouge police officer brought the suit after he said he was hit by a rock-like object and suffered serious injuries during protest over the police shooting of Alton Sterling, a 37-year-old man who was shot dead while officers pinned him to the ground in 2016. The officer sued Black Lives Matter and associated activist DeRay McKesson, whom the officers claimed in court documents incited the violence. The officer said McKesson and the movement should have known that the physical contact, riot, and demonstration that they staged would become violent. Middle District of Louisiana Chief Judge Brian Jackson dismissed the suit against McKesson and Black Lives Matter. In dropping Black Lives Matter from the suit, Jackson wrote that it represents a social movement that lacks the capacity to be sued. Addressing McKesson's role in the protest and subsequent lawsuit, Jackson wrote the activist was exercising his constitutional right to association and that he solely engaged in protected speech at the demonstration that took place in Baton Rouge. In 2115 New England, there are no borders, no states, and no regulations, yet never has a more peaceful and prosperous place existed. Anarchy in New England by Joe Jarvis is available from Amazon.com and all major bookstores. Reuters reports Apple Incorporated has received more than 4 times as many national security-related requests from the U.S. government in the first half of 2017 versus 1 year ago, according to a company report on Thursday. Apple said it had received between 13,250 and 13,499 national security requests, affecting between 9,000 and 9,249 users. That compares with a range of 2,750 and 2,999 requests, affecting between 2,000 and 2,249 users in the first half of 2016. The requests come in the form of so-called national security letters and requests under the Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Act, or FISA. Apple and other companies report ranges because government rules prevent disclosing precise numbers. Apple declined comment beyond the figures they released. The disclosures are voluntary, and firms like Microsoft and Facebook have yet to report any figures for 2017. Alphabet's Google said they had received between 0 and 499 national security letters requesting information on between 1,000 and 1,499 users in the first half of 2016. Its 2017 FISA request numbers were not yet available. It was not immediately clear what drove the increase in requests to Apple, but Andrew Crocker, staff attorney with the Electronic Frontier Foundation, said the number of government requests to tech companies had been increasing since 2014, when data first started to become available as part of a settlement between tech firms and the federal government. This has been FPP Radio News, online at fppradio.com.
Following the conclusion of yet another day marked by a litany of tedious and unavoidable realities, The Onion spoke with sociologist Dr. Timothy Coghill, who told reporters that the nation would be forced to go through all of it again tomorrow.
As our projections demonstrate, tomorrow, like today, every man, woman, and child in America will wake up and do it all again. All of it. Including traffic, the workday, bad coffee, your kid's soccer game, laundry, the struggling economy.
Statistical evidence also showed that the nation would once again endure traumatic childhood memories, Twitter, anxiety, poverty, consumerism, rampant abuses of the legal system,
joint pain, racial inequality, global warming, the steady erosion of civil liberties, Violence, loneliness, disease, unresolved intimacy issues, the ravages of age, hunger, sexual frustration, existential dread, the looming specter of death.
For more on this unending story, check this week's Onion Review.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
It is Free Talk Live, and of course, you can join us right here. Toll-free number is 855-450-FREE, like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. And we've got Skype as well, so do Skype in here at Skype username LRN.FM. Joining you in the studio tonight, it's me, Ian.
Will.
And Darryl.
Will Coley joining us as guest co-host here tonight. As, what are we entering? Week number, not quite 2 of renovations and repairs and cleanup of what will be the first full-time mosque in all of New Hampshire.
Yeah.
So we can talk more about how that's been going. Of course, you can bring up anything that you want. Our toll-free number is 855-450-FREE, like freedom. Have you eaten yet today?
I got to eat about a half of a sandwich in the parking lot when we got here.
All right, because did you want to talk about any of your restaurant experiences on the air?
This is sure, why not?
All right, so
and remember, we're on broadcast radio.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. You've had some frustrating experiences so far since having moved up here. And you're
I think it's culture shock, evidently.
Maybe, but you're also somebody who has experience working and running restaurants.
Yeah.
So somebody who's got hospitality experience is always going to be the best critic of other people's hospitality businesses.
Yeah.
And so where do you want to start?
Well, I would just say so far, I mean, unless there's like some strange thing where like we're going in and like they just see that we have kids and it's just that they're like having arguments over who has to take care of us. Like, I'm not
going
really
to take the family of 700?
You got 5 kids.
Yeah. Well, it's a family of 7, so like some of the places we go to, they've Auto-Grat, which is fine. You know, I mean,
they what was that?
They what?
Auto-Grat. That's where they automatically add 18%.
Gratuity.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
But the problem with that is like they end up cheating themselves because I'm a good tipper, but I don't really go by like percentages. I'm just like, this is a nice round number.
Yep.
You know, and instead they're like, oh well, no, you should tip him $7.68, and I was like, well. Okay, I mean, I was going to leave him a 10.
More
but,
than
you know,
that.
I was going to leave him a 10, but you know, since you put it on my check directly. He made my life a lot easier and saved me a couple bucks. Cool.
Right.
Well, here it's like I've eaten in restaurants all over the country. I mean, when we were touring for the nomination, Keen so far has
when you and Darryl were touring,
yes.
because Darryl was running for the Libertarian Party's presidential nomination, you were running for the VP nomination. So we actually have both of y'all now living in the same town. Which is
that's nice. But Keen has won my medal for worst restaurant customer service in the country.
Wow.
Yeah.
For me, it goes to the state of Ohio.
Why?
You know what? I went to like 4 restaurants in Ohio when we were on our way to the Michigan event, and no problems, prompt service, hot food. Good tip.
I recall the food the last time I was, or rather the one particular time that comes to mind in Ohio. I don't recall the food necessarily being hot, but all 3 of us grew up in the South. So when you see biscuits and gravy on a menu, what do you expect?
Fluffy white things with white gravy with bits of sausage in it. Unless you're in certain parts, maybe you'll have chipped beef in it.
So I was expecting, that white creamy gravy. No. They put beef gravy. And then I asked the waitress, and she said, well, nobody's ever complained about this before. This is what we serve. We didn't think we had to specify that it wasn't, sausage gravy.
White sawmill. They call it sawmill gravy, but white sawmill gravy.
I was like, well, it's already on my plate. I'll go ahead and eat it. And then I overhear a couple of truckers sitting at the table across the aisle from me also order the biscuits and gravy, and a couple minutes later, same waitress brings it to them, and they're like, this isn't what we thought. And her response to them was, Well, nobody else ever complains about it.
Even though you
and I'm
had
thinking,
just-
I did 5 minutes ago.
That's going to tie into Will's story about what happened at a family diner here in Keene, where the waitress he was talking to just had no recollection, apparently, of what had just happened.
Well, so I bring her. She brings me. I ordered a lasagna because I wanted a GI's breakfast, which is
This is at the diner.
Yeah, which is something that I can't repeat on the air, but everybody knows what it's: chipped beef and white sawmill gravy on biscuits or toast. So
slop on shingles.
Yeah, that's what we'll call it. And it comes with eggs and hash browns and all that stuff. And I was like, I want the GI's breakfast, and they were like, oh, well, we don't have that. It's only on Monday. I was like, okay, fine. And I decided, all right, I know the lasagna is good because the last time we were here, some of the food was good, some of it was mediocre. So I'll go with the lasagna. She brings me lasagna. It is dead cold in the center. Like it just came out of the refrigerator. So I send it to the kitchen again, and they bring it back 3 minutes later. I cut into it in the center, just stick my butter knife directly down on the top, and then put my finger down in the hole. And
Still cold.
Feels like it just came out of the refrigerator. So I'm like, come finger this for me. And she's like, I don't want to put my finger in there. And I'm like, well, I want you to feel how cold it is before you go throw it in the trash because I'm definitely not eating this at this point. And then I order something else. And while I'm ordering it, she looks at me when I order the home fries. She goes, do you want onions on those home fries? I said, no, I don't want onions on any of this. And she said, oh, okay, not a problem. And then she takes the order back to the kitchen, and she comes back 5 minutes later with
onions.
a plate. Not just it looked like they put extra onions on there for spite. And I just looked at the plate, and I looked at her, and I was like, can you tell me now why this plate should be in the kitchen still instead of sitting in front of me? And she was just baffled at the fact that I wasn't just going to sit there and eat the food and not complain.
This reminds me of two different things. So there was an episode of Hell's Kitchen where the guy, I forget it, the chef guy.
Gordon Ramsay.
Yeah. He goes to this Italian restaurant and they cook, and I'm using air quotes there, they cook all of their food in the microwave. So stuff would come out like the lasagna you described where it's cold in the middle but like crusty burnt on the sides. And also the scene from, was it Road Trip? The one where the guy accidentally sent the porno to his girlfriend?
Yeah, where the guy puts the French toast down his pants.
Drops the French toast down his pants and then just puts extra powdered sugar on it.
I've come to the conclusion, I think within the next 5 years, my wife and I are going to open a restaurant in Keene, and we're literally going
lucky
to
for you,
push.
the one that you ate lunch at or attempted to eat lunch at is for sale.
Right? Could you imagine like actual good Southern food from that? We would run half of the place. You would have to compete with us for service, or you'd be out of business.
Now, how are you going to run a full-time mosque and run a restaurant? I mean, the restaurant is a big
multiple
task.
wives.
I said 5 years, yo. I said 5 years. That gives me time to get a good...
That gives them time to have a couple more kids. The older ones will then wind up being working age.
5 years from now, Shuaib will be leading the prayer and opening the masjid.
Well, you did mention having like a, I don't know, a secondary imam, or what's the term for like...
Oh, an assistant imam. We'd like to hire an assistant imam.
Down the line.
Yeah. We actually had a really
great... But wait, you didn't finish the story about the onions. So it came back out with onions.
I sent it back to the kitchen.
And you'd asked her what was wrong with this. Like, why should this have not been delivered to you?
She had no clue.
She did not recollect, or at least wanted you to believe she didn't recollect the onion portion of the no onions portion.
She asked me about it. I just turned around and looked at my wife, and I was like, she did specifically ask me if I wanted onions, right? She said, yeah, I heard it too. I'm flabbergasted that, and this has happened now, service at that level now at 4 restaurants in 3 days, or 2 days. 4 restaurants in a row.
I don't get it, man. I mean,
we've gone
maybe it's just me and I'm used to being up here or whatever, but I don't recall having service
I
that
found
bad.
Actually, most of the service around here is
awful.
Not that good.
Yeah.
When you went,
and when I've said stuff before, you're like, oh, well, it's just the way diner waitresses are.
But that's it. Diner waitresses in the diner around the corner from where he was, which is looks like a classic diner from the outside. It's kind of like a trailer. They are the classic kind of rough and tumble.
They're like,
waitresses.
why the hell are you in my
But
restaurant?
that's not what you were dealing with here.
No,
you were
no.
dealing with incompetence.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, back home in the South, like you get that rough and grumble, like don't disappoint me this early in the morning. But she'll have your coffee in front of you within the first minute that you sit down, and your food on your table within 10 minutes after, and you're ready to leave in a half an hour.
All right. If you want to share, terrible restaurant customer service stories, you're welcome to join us here. Our toll-free number is 855-450-FREE, because I'm sure you can top this. 855-450-3733. It's Free Talk Live.
I got my Blink home security system delivered right to my door. I downloaded the app and it walked me right through the easy setup. Even with my complicated router system, I was done in like 10 minutes. Now it notifies me whenever something moves in front of the wireless cameras, or I can just check it whenever I want right from my phone. And I got you a deal. Get 3 Blink cams for what the other guys charge you for 1, plus an extra 10% off. Visit blinkprotect.com/FTL. 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 The 3 most important things you can do for LRN.FM are: 1. Let your friends know you're listening to LRN.FM on your social networking profile. 2. Buy the things you buy online through shop.LRN.FM. 3. Give $5 a month to the AMP program at amp.LRN.FM. You likely buy all kinds of things online. Amazon is the largest online retailer. You can get what you need at the same great prices, and LRN gets a cut. Please do your online shopping at shop.LRN.FM.
Have you wanted to get into Bitcoin mining but don't want to deal with the hassle and frustration of operating the mining hardware? Let pool.bitcoin.com handle it for you like I did. Just visit pool.bitcoin.com and use their calculator to estimate what you could end up making. You get to decide which Bitcoin you want to mine. If you already have mining equipment, you're invited to join pool.bitcoin.com. Get all the details and get started mining Bitcoin at pool.bitcoin.com.
Dash is digital cash, a digital currency designed to replace cash and help people manage their own wealth. It's fast and easy, fees are low, and transactions are confirmed instantly. Pay anyone, anywhere in the world, anytime for just pennies on the dollar. Dash is the first digital money that's governed by its users. Join Dash at dash.org and help build a better financial system for everyone. Find out more at dash.org.
The Free State Project has reached its goal of 20,000 liberty lovers who've pledged to move to New Hampshire and get active to achieve liberty in our lifetime. Perhaps you're trying to figure out what part of New Hampshire should be your destination. If so, consider Keene. You'll find more than 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com. Keene is famous for its historic, publicity-generating activism, as well as being the liberty media capital of the world. It's home to freekeene.com, New Hampshire's destination for liberty activism, news, and opinion. For years, we've been compiling over 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com, where you'll learn about some of what's happening here and what makes Keene a great place to live. If you love liberty, you'll probably enjoy anywhere you end up in the Shire. But do your due diligence first. Please visit move.freekeene.com for the full list of over 150 reasons to move to Keene. That's move.freekeene.com. DVD, books, music, instruments, periodicals, computers, software, electronics, photo, cell phones, office products, home and garden, bed and bath, furniture, kitchen, pet supplies, automotive, hardware, apparel, shoes, jewelry, grocery, healthcare, sports and outdoors, toys, games, used, and more. It's a department store at your fingertips. Shop.freetalklive.com. Get all your shopping done, get a great deal, and a portion of your purchase goes to benefit Free Talk Live when you enter Amazon via shop.freetalklive.com.
Are you tired of governments murdering people around the world? Stop using their money. There is an alternative. Bitcoin is a stateless free market non-political currency. Bitcoin cannot be inflated or controlled by any government. By using their money, you are helping the state. Stop doing it. You have an incredible alternative available now. Learn it, use it, spread it. Get started with Bitcoin at bitcoin.com. That's bitcoin.com.
If you enjoy LRN.FM, please contribute to your favorite shows via their websites and become an amplifier at amp.lrn.fm. That's amp.lrn.fm.
It's Free Talk Live, and you can take control of the airwaves at 855-450-FREE like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. We do have Skype, and the Skype username is LRN.FM. Joining you in studio, it's Ian.
Will.
And Darryl.
Also, are you eating 5 servings of fruits and vegetables daily? Only about 10% of people are. And here's some more bad news. A preponderance of research is showing that you really need 10 servings a day. That's nearly a gallon of fruits and veggies in their raw form every day, and only 1% of the population is doing that.
And didn't you see me just finish that big old trough?
No. I missed that.
That's because I'm cheating. I'm getting the 10 servings, but I'm cheating.
Coffee's a bean, right? So that counts as a vegetable. I get 10 servings a day.
And we'll tell you how Darryl is cheating on this one. He is using Whole Food Multi-Complete's Fruit and Veggie Total. And you can do that, too, by going to simplifymysupplements.com, and that's where you can get Fruit and Veggie Total. Use coupon code FTL. You'll save 10%. You'll get a free shaker bottle as well. Simplifymysupplements.com. Code FTL saves you 10%, and you can pay with Bitcoin. You just have to reach out to them, I think, directly to get the Bitcoin deal.
Yeah, it's on the website where you just click saying, I want to pay with Bitcoin, send them a message.
So simplifymysupplements.com, code FTL. Let's go to...
And include that code in the email.
Right on. Yeah, so you get the 10% off the Bitcoin deal.
Yes.
All right, let's go to Stephen in Ohio. We're talking about bad restaurant experiences. Will has been almost striking out so far in his 2 weeks up here in New Hampshire. But, Stephen, you're in Ohio. Go ahead with your thoughts.
Well, first of all, when it comes to southern diners and things like that around here, I do have to agree the quality of food is never that good. But that's like going outside of Maryland for a crab cake. You're not going to get it the way.
Well, first of all, I don't think that you can compare foods in regions fairly. I mean, these are different countries.
Yeah.
Florida to or Alabama or Tennessee, all the way up to New England. There may not be an imaginary national border in there, but it is a different place. Diners aren't
even
necessarily
from parts of Florida to Alabama.
Sure. Diners aren't necessarily a southern thing, I don't think. These diners that have been up here have been here for a long time. Like the one here in Keene, there's 2 main diners in Keene.
There's the one that all the politicians go to, and they've got pictures of all of them.
Right, and that's the one that's been open forever.
Yeah.
That one has, that's the one with the proper diner waitresses, with the gruff, kind of rough and tumble waitress.
Why are you here sort of attitude.
Like I'm here, we'll have to try that out.
Like if you're good with them, you can get her to crack a smile. If you're good with them. But the other one is like a diner where the waitresses are generally pretty nice, and that was the one that you were in. But this one was just so incompetent. It seemed like. Surprise.
It's meatloaf and type stuff, you know.
I found that particular restaurant, and I'm not going to give the name of it, but that particular restaurant, the service sort of drops off after the breakfast time.
Really?
Yeah, because you always have your best, most competent waitresses there
in the morning.
Early in the morning.
And you weren't there in the morning for this?
We were there around 11.
Oh, okay. That was in the morning.
Yeah. We were around 11 o'clock.
Anyway, go ahead, Stefan. You got a story?
Service is, well, it's mostly the quality of service you get around here. I live in Youngstown, and things are pretty much hit and miss here.
Mm-hmm.
Because when I go to a restaurant, I do expect a waitress or a waiter who's going to be on top of their game. They're the ones that get the tips. I never understood, because I don't think we have mandatory gratuity here. So you can choose to tip your waiter or not, which I think is a good thing. But the other day I was at a restaurant called Bob Evans. Do you guys have that up there?
We had them in Tennessee.
I'm aware of the chain.
It's like a family chain diner kind of thing.
Yeah.
Well, when I was at a Bob Evans last week with a buddy, I had gotten coffee, and I kid you not, the cup had sat empty for 15 minutes.
Damn.
After it was
You're
done.
not getting a tip, yo. Because I'm a coffee drinker, man. You're not getting jack.
I was half tempted to just freaking leave a dime on the table. I think that and I went to Maryland and went to this diner called Double T, and the same thing happened to me. It depends where you go. That's, in my opinion, where you get the bad service, is if you have a waiter or a waitress that's just not paying attention to you.
Waitresses these days don't understand what an upside down dime on the table means anymore. So, that whole
what does
insult
upside down? I mean, generally, leaving a penny or a small amount is generally considered an insult because the waitress then knows you did not accidentally not leave a tip, that you purposefully did. Why
the
upside
down dime? It's just something that was always popular that I heard about. My mom waited tables all through the 80s and the 90s, and that was just it was some kind of a symbolic middle finger to a waitress who gave exceptionally bad service. Not only we're not going to stiff you, but this is like a kiss our butt kind of we had a terrible time, we're going to tell everybody we know that you suck.
Well, in states with mandatory gratuity, do you think that might...
Are there states with mandatory gratuity?
I've never heard of it.
Some municipalities have it.
Really?
We had mandatory gratuity because some restaurants have any party of 7 or larger.
Some do. Yeah, that's pretty common.
Well, in Tennessee, they don't do that because of the law that states that you have to take any automatic gratuity that's on a check has to actually be paid in a paycheck. It can no longer go directly to the server, so that it can be taxed at the higher rate, because the government felt they weren't getting enough tax dollars from servers, and that maybe we weren't telling them the truth about how much money we were making. Right? So so they decided to change the laws and state that if you get automatic gratuity, that has to go on to a paycheck, and the paperwork for that, I guess, is a nightmare. So a lot of restaurants in Tennessee and in Florida have cut out auto-gratuity altogether because having auto-gratuity is such a nightmare, and the taxes and everything else.
But do you think in a way that incentivizes, I mean, that doesn't give you incentive to be a good service person?
No, I had most of
auto-gratuity?
Yeah, my auto-gratuity tables, what I would do is I would give them the best service I could, because a lot of times what happens is they will double tip you. They'll just be like, they'll still look at the check and they'll see what it is, and they'll pay the check, and then a lot of times they'll tip you almost as much as the auto-gratuity is on top of that.
But you're probably unusual. I mean, a lot of people in the restaurant business, it's a high turnover business. It is hard to find good help. Right. And so a lot of the other servers might really like the auto-gratuity because they know they can kind of drop the ball a little bit, right? Like if they screw up a little, then they're still going to get paid.
And then there are some states, I think California is one of them, to where the minimum wage for most people in the restaurant industry
is the same.
They're making a much lower minimum wage, so they are working for tips. California, they've set the minimum wage at basically the same rate, if not the same rate. Yeah. So while you're still expected to tip your waiter or waitress in California, they're not working for tips.
They hurt the restaurant industry in Florida really bad. During the crash, like when the 2008 crash happened, the same year as that crash happened, they doubled the server minimum wage to $4.75. And within 3 months, you saw restaurants all over Orlando with plywood over the windows.
Wow.
Well, when I hear about things like that where, the minimum wage is lower for servers, I've never heard anybody complain about that.
No, when I serve, I make, if I'm
good servers make good money.
Yeah, man, if I'm in a good restaurant, like a high quality restaurant, I'm making $18 to $25 an hour.
Yeah, if you're good with people, if you're good with sales, you're good at suggesting items and things like that, then you'll do pretty well.
Make sure the glass is topped off and always ask, do you want dessert?
Right, and as long as people are coming through the doors, you'll be fine. Hey, thanks for the call, Stefan. More coming up here. This is Free Talk Live.
Dr. Carolyn Dean wants you to have a free chapter of her new book, The Magnesium Miracle 2nd Edition, and it's available at magmiracle.com. In your free chapter, Dr. Carolyn Dean explains how magnesium is essential to support the structure and function and overall health of your body. Your free chapter is your guide to learn how to support your heart, bone, metabolic, lung, and mental health with this powerful mineral. The Magnesium Miracle 2nd Edition is available on Amazon, but right now get a free chapter at magmiracle.com, spelled M-A-G, miracle.com.
In an emergency, you need a fire now. But what if the wood is wet? No problem for InstaFire. Our non-toxic fire starter packs light wet wood, can even burn on water or in any weather, sustains winds up to 30 miles per hour, and each pouch weighs only 1.75 ounces. Need an emergency stove? Get the InstaFire Inferno stove that boils water in under 3 minutes. Temps up to 1,500 degrees. Free shipping on anything. Go to instafire.com/radio specials and get yours today. InstaFire. Fire in an instant. Instafire.com/radio specials.
This is Michael Dean from the Freedom Fiends. I've run websites since 1996 and have used over a dozen web hosts in that time. AgristHosting.com is the only one that hasn't broken my heart. Agrist Hosting's uptime and service is stellar, and their DDoS mitigation is the best I've seen. That's important because if you tell the truth in this world, you'll ruffle feathers. And some people will try dirty tricks to silence your voice. No matter what the haters hit us with, Agrist Hosting keeps our websites online. If you have a mission-critical commercial presence or a world-changing activism site, you cannot tolerate any skullduggery. So go with AgristHosting.com. Have a WordPress or blog site, but you're not satisfied with performance or uptime? Or just want raw hosting? Want to pay with Bitcoin? Agrist Hosting specializes in high-performance hosting with personalized service. Go to AgristHosting.com and click on the button that says Get Hosted. That's AgristHosting.com.
In Survivor Max 2, School Bites, Max must scavenge through a wasteland swarming with the undead. Desperate to find the medicine he needs, he discovers a community of survivors at his former school. Has he finally found the safe haven he's been looking for, or will he discover that school bites? Look for Survivor Max on Facebook, read reviews on Amazon, and read Chapter 1 at SurvivorMax.com.
The 3 most important things you can do for Free Talk Live are: 1. Share 1 episode a week on Facebook or in some other social networking site. 2. Buy the things you buy online through shop.freetalklive.com. 3. Give $5 a month to the AMP program. It's my firm belief that Free Talk Live's AMP program is the best use of your charitable dollar among liberty-oriented organizations. Support all the organizations you love, but make sure you give $5 a month to AMP at amp.freetalklive.com.
Is spreading the message of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace around the globe worth $2 per month to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM broadcasts on free-to-air satellite across North and Central America, as well as Sub-Saharan Africa. And we've been available on satellite for free 24/7 since 2010. The LRN.FM free-to-air satellite signal is reaching some of the most oppressive regimes in the world, and there's no doubt our ideas are making an impact. You can learn more about the channel's impact by watching the 3-minute video at fund.lrn.fm. If you'd like to help free minds globally with our ideas of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace, you can donate as little as $2 per month via fund.lrn.fm. You can help us continue and expand our satellite broadcast to multiple continents. Visit fund.lrn.fm today, and thank you for your help. Don't forget to share the link on social media. That's fund.lrn.fm.
You can put the Liberty Radio Network on the air in your area. Visit broadcast.lrn.fm to learn how. Broadcast.lrn.fm.
Free Talk Live. Dial toll free. Bring up what you want. Our number here is 855-450-FREE, like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. You really got to press that thing down hard. So when you were pressing it didn't work.
Okay.
Toll free number here tonight, 855-450-FREE. Will Coley joining Ian and Darryl in the studio for this edition of the show. We're going to go to your calls and thoughts. Of course, you can bring up whatever it is that you want. We've been talking about bad restaurant experiences, and Will, you've had a few bad ones in just the last couple days.
I haven't been to a restaurant since I got to Keene, New Hampshire, that I didn't get my drink from the counter, that it took less than 20 minutes for my drink to get to my table.
So you had to get up in some of them and ask for where
if I go to Fritz's,
yeah,
I get the drink out of the
machine.
The machine.
Okay. And if I go to we have Social Sunday, you get the drink when you place the order.
Right.
So he's saying at a restaurant where
sit down where somebody's bringing you drinks or whatever.
Yeah, where you sit there and the waitress comes to your table.
Yeah.
I haven't been to a restaurant like that since I got to Keene, that it didn't take at least 10 minutes before I saw a server.
Wow.
And probably another 10 minutes after I finally saw a server and they said hello and acknowledged my existence, that I got a drink.
Wow.
Or order a drink, depending on the restaurant.
Wow.
Yeah, that's incredible.
And one of those did add an auto-gratuity to my check. So I tipped 18% for a guy that we were there for a half an hour before my drinks were in front of me.
So
with 5 children, all into 7 and under.
So it's been quite an eye-opening experience for you here. You having just made the move up as part of this large New Hampshire freedom migration. You're getting ready to open at some point, and at some indeterminate point in the future. You'd hoped for early October, but it's probably looking more like November.
Yeah,
at this point.
And we've pretty much just
opening a mosque.
From here, we've told the media like first weekend in November.
Yeah,
you know, we have no illusions that it's possible for us to be open on October the 7th anymore.
And media is interested. You actually just did an interview today with the union leader. Not sure when that story is going to publish. Is that expected for the weekend?
She is coming to the house to the property to take some photos at the Malik Center and stuff, and talk to volunteers and all that kind of thing tomorrow.
Okay,
around
great.
11 a.m.
Yeah, I don't know if that's going to go out Sunday, but it might. There's a chance.
Hope so.
If she gets it in, by whatever the deadline might be.
I would love for it to be in the Sunday edition.
Yeah, it could happen. But either way, it'll usually be big. It was a union leader. The reporter in question was the reporter that blew up the Robin Hood story. Now you never know what's going to hit and why it's going to hit. You just never know. You just got to kind of throw it out there and see what the media people pick up. But this has been picked up. You've been picked up by NBC News earlier this week. You can go to freekeen.com. I posted there the NBC Boston piece. They came out to the house that, again, is being remodeled into what will be a full-time mosque in New Hampshire and community center that other religions will actually be able to utilize. So NBC, the Keene Sentinel, which is the main newspaper here in Keene, did a front page piece, and that was back in August. And their photographer actually called me yesterday because I'd left him a message. He definitely wants to come out when the grand opening is happening.
Yeah.
NBC wants to come back for that.
Broadcast
and now you
live from the opening, inshallah.
Right, and now you
buy some ads in that newspaper that gets delivered to every house in the county, and they'll put a front page article.
They will. That's true. You're talking about the Monadnock Shopper, which is basically an advertorial newspaper. It just essentially exists to promote things.
Right. We could ask for volunteers.
Yeah, I mean, you have to spend like $3,000 on those ads. So yeah, I didn't think that would fly there, Darryl. Unless you're gonna fund that
for real.
No. Liberty Lobby.
You got a half a Bitcoin you want to throw into it, don't you?
So hey, speaking of throwing in, we did mention earlier this week that you guys have shot for $11,000 in fundraising for this remodel, for putting a sign with a marquee out front, and really making the place into a mosque-looking facility because it looks like a house.
Well, I just went and ordered $3,000 worth of blue handmade in Turkey mosque carpeting.
To somebody out there, that might sound like a lot of money, $3,000 worth of carpet, but it's not.
No, it's
Why?
super cheap. Well, we went to the local carpet companies, and to find anything even comparable to this, which doesn't have the artistic quality, just have the same quality of carpet itself, it was $14 and change a square foot. And the guy that I'm going through, it's $2.99 a square foot.
Yeah, so
plus $300 in shipping. But even without that shipping, it's even with the shipping, it's super cheap.
And you said it's wool carpet.
Yeah,
which is a little different. I don't know if I've ever walked on wool carpet. Maybe I have, but I don't recall. It doesn't seem very
super soft.
common.
It's really pretty. It's very sturdy. I mean, you can find wool carpets hanging in museums that are thousands of years old.
You've got a vision for the Malik Center. What does Malik stand for?
Masjid Al-Latif and Interfaith Community Center.
And people have been stepping up now that there are matching contributions. So you were almost to about 50% of your goal of $11,000 when we announced the Shire Free Church is going to be matching contributions all the way on up to the $11,000 goal. So, folks, actually somebody dropped off a large contribution this week after that was announced. So thank you to that somebody.
Yeah, a very good friend of ours in the Liberty community. I got a phone call just at random, and they said, hey, I'm supposed to bring you a donation. And I said, okay, I'm on my way to my hotel. Meet me there in half an hour. And I had no idea who this was. And even when they got there, they were like, hi, and you remember me? And I'm no, not really. And they're like, well, this person that you do remember told me to give you $1,000. So here's $1,000 in cash. And just handed me $1,000 in cash,
which just turns into $2,000.
It magically turns into $2,000. That's right. Alhamdulillah. Yeah. And then the very next day, I found out that there is a program with businesses in Kenya where they donate portions of their proceeds in order to fund mosques.
Mm-hmm.
And so there are a couple of mosques in Kenya who will be sending us 1% of their profits every month, which could be as little as $50 and could be as much as $1,000. But that will keep coffee purchased. That will keep all the stuff and the cups and sugar packets and paper for the print. All of the stuff for our homeless warming center is now sponsored. Once we get open, we now have a monthly sponsor that will take care of all of our cost for the homeless warming center. And that means that when we're not doing the homeless warming center, we'll be accruing that. We can either use that money for speakers, we can use that money for expansion projects, or what I prefer is we can take the homeless warming center and turn it into a homeless breakfast center, and we'll just start serving breakfast for homeless people every day. That's what I would prefer to do with that money, is just take it and invest it into doing more good for the local community.
Now, I noticed I just went to the fundraiser, which is launchgood.com/Malick Center, MALIC Center, and I see the funding goal is now $15,000.
Well, we had to change that because the original goal included $1,000 for the strips of carpeting, but once we got clearance to put the wall-to-wall carpeting in, our budget jumped by $2,000 instantly. So we had to figure that in. Plus, that also will incorporate an installation fee.
Mm-hmm.
So because of the increase in our cost, we had to put the necessary amount for us to raise up a little bit. Now, we wouldn't want the matching past the 11,000, but we're hoping that we can get that without that. Once we can get people really motivated, that we'll hit the 11,000 mark and we'll be on to 15 before we even notice it.
Well, and once you see the progress, I think that it's going to be we're a little bit stuck at the moment with a major repair that we need to get some engineers' eyes on to take a look at that. But
my carpet, there's 20 more days before the carpet we ordered will even be in the United States.
Yeah.
So, and then we have our guy coming out and plus the work that you're doing. So, we're at least 30 days
no doubt,
from having carpet down and walls painted and the actual prayer area and nursery ready to rock and roll.
And the best way to follow along, obviously you're going to be on Free Talk Live as often as we can bring you in here to kind of update our listeners, but if folks want to follow you, you are all over your Facebook profile. You're posting multiple times a day, frequently live streaming. Malick Center also has its own Facebook page, which seems to get some of the streams, but not all of them.
Well, it's just because I get more traffic on my personal page.
Yep, we'll come back with more. You can share your thoughts at 855-450 free.
Crimes of the Crown by Captain Mark. The Crown casts the world in shadow and claims to be our guiding light. Cowards clamor for security from boogeymen and ghost stories. While I say these hobgoblins are imaginary, I say those they propped up as our liberators are now subsisting on our bondage. I say there is freedom in the black, and that's exactly where we intend to go. The Crown banishes its own officers for exposing its crimes and tortures dissidents to the brink of madness. It dominates the globe and swallows the wealth of generations, leaving only blood and excrement. The Crown calls it piracy to explore frontiers beyond its grasp. So the time has come for us to define the conduct among pirates. I say the Crown has trampled our necks long enough. Need decentralized solutions to centralized problems? Looking for a community of like-minded scoundrels? Or just want some swag to let the Crown know what you think of it? Join the conversation at pirateswithoutborders.com. We won't be hard to find.
Are you happy washing your hands with harsh chemicals? Are you happy doing laundry with detergents? Are you happy paying high prices? Find your happiness with Pure Soap. These all-natural, earth-friendly Pure Soaps are the very best you've ever used. Buy in bulk. Get a 12, 36, or 48-month supply. Or get items individually and still save big. You're getting soap products twice as good as what you're using now. Earth-friendly and natural soaps. Your family deserves the best. Happiness is 5starsoap.com. Why not put your money up the drain for a change? See them at 5starsoap.com or call 1-800-340-7091 for a catalog. Cal Ben Soap Company can save you thousands of dollars. and give you good old-fashioned real soaps that are triple concentrated. Soaps made from vegetable and coconut oils. See their full selection of soaps at 5starsoap.com. That's FIVE starsoap.com. Or call 1-800-340-7091 for a catalog.
The American robin heralds the beginning of spring in temperate climates across North America. Its red breast makes it easily identifiable as the most disturbingly efficient murderer in the animal kingdom. Here, we see a robin rip a worm out of the ground with no moral hesitation whatsoever. This atrocity is but one in a series of cold-blooded murders this bird will commit in a single day. Although feces-fueled worms are themselves one of the most disgusting of all animals, the robin's cruelty remains indefensible. Some apologists might argue that robins need to eat worms to survive, but worms are capable of regeneration. So robins could satiate themselves on fractions of individual worms and leave the rest. But it does not. Unequivocal evidence of the robin's bloodlust.
This is the Onion News Network.
Did you know you can watch Free Talk Live during our live shows 7 days a week from 7 to 10 p.m. Eastern via our studio cams at cam.freetalklive.com? Plus, you can chat with other listeners while you watch, all totally free. Now that our live video stream is hosted by YouTube, our video archives will be online even faster. So be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Listen, watch, and chat all free at cam.freetalklive.com. That's cam.freetalklive.com.
I love My Magic Mud. I drink a lot of coffee. I had stains on my teeth. Then I found My Magic Mud, and I was told it would remove stains. So I paid attention when I brushed the first time. My Magic Mud is black tooth powder, and the difference it made in my teeth in one application was noticeable. With 4, my teeth were as white as you normal folks out there. Please go to mymagicmud.com and buy a jar. There's 150 applications for $25. You can use Bitcoin, mymagicmud.com.
You can connect with the Liberty Radio Network via our Facebook page at facebook.lrn.fm. That's facebook.lrn.fm.
Free Talk Live, you dial toll free if you want to join us here. Our number is 855-450-FREE, like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. And you can Skype in to join us. Skype username is lrn.fm. Here in the studio tonight, it's Ian,
Will,
and Darryl.
Also, I want you to know about pool.bitcoin.com. If you've been thinking about mining Bitcoin, but it's, maybe you've looked into it and you've realized it's beyond your level of expertise, because you do have to have a fairly high level of technical expertise with computers to be able to do your own Bitcoin or other cryptocurrency mining. But there's now a group making it easy, and that's pool.bitcoin.com. They will take care of the ongoing costs, equipment upgrades, and maintenance, and all you have to do is just put some Bitcoin in. And you can use their easy calculator over at pool.bitcoin.com, which will give you some idea of what it is that you can make based on what you want to invest. There's a 100% uptime guarantee. Mark and I, two of the hosts here on Free Talk Live, are doing this over at pool.bitcoin.com, so check it out for yourself. That's pool.bitcoin.com. Toll-free number tonight, 855-450-FREE, like freedom. Speaking of freedom, that is something that a dark web administrator or an alleged administrator on the dark web is not going to be seeing anytime soon, unfortunately, after he flew to the United States from France for a beard competition. And
that's beard with a D, not beer as in the beverage.
Beard as in how good I look.
B-E-A-R-D. His name, Gal Valerius, a.k.a. Oxy Monster, allegedly is his name on the underground marketplaces. In this case, the market is called Dream Market, which was one of the few remaining marketplaces after this summer's raids against some of the more popular Darknet markets. And Darryl, for our listeners who are maybe new to the term, what is a Darknet market?
I will neither confirm nor deny having ever gone to one, but
it's not illegal to go and look at them, as I understand it. Just saying. I mean, it's buying from them that's illegal, or selling.
I will neither confirm nor deny, how in depth my knowledge actually is, but I do know that you need something called the Onion router, the Tor browser for short, and you can't just stumble upon a dark web market by clicking a link in Gmail or doing a Google search.
Accident.
There's some stuff that I've stumbled upon from Google or Wikipedia, and dark web, not one of those things. So it's something that you have to intentionally know you're going to, and you have to have special software to get to. You don't need special hardware. So some people might get confused. Oh, so what's this Onion router? I need a separate router? No, that's just the name of the software. Right. And most of the websites are on, that Onion router. There's other things like I2P and a couple
That's another form of internet anonymization.
So most of the sites are going to be a long string of characters, .onion.
Correct. And these darknet markets have been around since about 2011, when the Silk Road was the first of its kind, the real trailblazer, the grandfather of all of these also come sites. After Silk Road was taken down in October 2013, others were sprouting up, and now as of this summer, there were several, but it seems like, and I was looking at some of them today. I wanted to see how many had stayed around after the raids over the summertime, when Alpha Bay was taken down and Hansa Market were taken down by international groups of police who put quite a bit of time and effort into finding these operations and the alleged administrators of them. And it doesn't seem like there are a whole lot of visible darknet markets. Now, how many of them are still out there but trying to fly below the radar, even more so by maybe not advertising publicly or whatever? I don't know.
But then if you're not advertising, publicly, and I don't know necessarily, how public some of the advertising is, but if you're not advertising at all, how are people going to find you to know that they're there?
Word of mouth. It would be,
I don't know,
invite only.
When you move to a new town and you like to do, and say you move to a new town and you like to do Oxycontin or you like to do heroin, that happens. Okay, well, where do you buy heroin? Okay, you just
I've never been in the market for heroin. I have no clue how to find somebody.
You have no clue where to find heroin. I have no clue where to find heroin. But there are people in this town that if the heroin dries up in one spot, they know where to find heroin somewhere else.
I could guarantee I could find it within a day and a half if I really wanted it. But I've never
been some strung out looking people.
I've never been in the market for buying it.
Well, the internet, I'm sure, has some of those same strung out kind of characters that you can just be like, hey, man, so. I mean, there's got to be, because that's how these places keep getting busted.
Well, there's different reasons why some of them get busted. And we'll get into the story here about Gal Valerius, because each of these stories, each of these darknet markets has their own unique stories. And usually it usually has to do with some serious security errors by the administrators who, just got lazy in some cases and didn't cover their tracks as well as they could have, or the government, like in the case of the Silk Road, they busted one of them and then put one of their own guys in that person's shoes. And
At least one of their guys.
Yeah, and of course it's an anonymous market, so nobody actually knew that he'd been switched out, and then that guy, the federal agent, then had administrative access to the back end of the site, which helped them bust Ross Ulbricht, who was the main operator.
Also helped him, being the corrupt government agent, helped him embezzle a bunch of Bitcoin.
Right, that happened too.
And then Ross Ulbricht's defense team found out about one of the corrupt guys 3 days before the trial and told, you're not allowed to mention any of this to the jury because our investigation is still going on.
Didn't one of them try to hire a hitman or something? Have somebody hire a killer?
That's the claim, but we don't know if that was actually set up by the agents themselves.
The chat log makes it appear, from what's been released of the chat log, it makes it appear that it was the corrupt government agent that orchestrated the whole thing of, hey, you really should, do that. But there's no evidence that whomever he was chatting with was actually Ross.
That's correct,
because
Ross Ulbricht, yeah.
there's allegations that there were multiple people that were the Dread Pirate Roberts, and there's some evidence to support that.
And there's also no real way to prove that the entire chat log wasn't completely fabricated by corrupt agents.
Yeah.
So, but without getting, because we could go on about the Silk Road forever.
Yeah.
But here's what's going on with one of the few markets remaining, and there have been people who've been saying this dream market has also been infiltrated. And I remember I forget what the evidence was for that claim, but it was back when Hansa Market and Alpha Bay over the summer were taken down. I remember somebody saying, "Look out for Dream Market because such and such." And
they're not taken down. That would be my clue.
Well,
everybody got busted except for those guys over there.
Well, and
there's your snitch.
The Hansa Market was taken down, I believe, by Dutch police, and they admitted later that they had seized the market and sat there and kept running this underground marketplace because they knew they were coordinating with the other law enforcement around the world, and they knew that the Alpha Bay, which was the #1 top drug market, had been for a while. They knew they were going to take Alpha Bay down, and what always happens when they do one of these takedowns is all the fish from the market, the sellers and the buyers, they all jump out, and then they jump over to another market. And so they knew that they were going to get a huge influx of new users on the Hansa market, which they had already seized control of. So they kept Hansa online when they took down Alpha Bay, and sure enough, people they didn't know, they just jumped on in and started doing business on Hansa. All the while, the government's got gathering whatever data they possibly could on that. And so you're right. That was one of the reasons why people said, well, they have also probably seized Dream Market. And I forget there was something else. If you're out there and and you can remember what the alleged reason why, hey, look out, this might be compromised. You're welcome to share it at 855-450, free like freedom. And now they've arrested one of the alleged administrators of the Dream Market, Gal Valerius. Now, I want to be clear. This is the Miami Herald's piece that I'm going to share with you. I don't think it's the best representation of what happened because I haven't actually read the indictment against Valerius. And so we're going to have to take that through we're going to have to take our information through the lens of this journalist here, Jay Weaver.
So before you get into that, I just found an article from the Hacker News. Headline, dark web users suspect Dream Market has backdoors, and then there's a picture of some code that they've got highlighted. I don't necessarily know what it means, and I'm not going to read code on the air. But yeah, that's I think part of where the thing came about, because
they found something in the code.
This was right around the same time that Alpha Bay and Hansa were both taken down. Somebody found something in the code.
We'll check it during the news, because I remember you're right. There was something there that they said matched another signature of a possible takedown. Anyway, we'll get into it. And then we'll tell you what happened with Gal Valerius and why he was going to Austin, Texas for a beard growing championship when he's an administrator of a Darknet marketplace. You'd think that you wouldn't want to go to the United States if you were one of those people, but some of these guys get cocky. 855-450, free.
Heart disease is on the rise. Clogged arteries, high blood pressure, and high cholesterol levels may not be fully detected by you, but the symptoms are there. Loss of energy, blood sugar spikes and drops, poor circulation, and irregular heartbeat are just a few of these that can alert you that something is wrong. Hear how Heart and Body Extract is making a difference in thousands of people's lives across America.
My blood pressure has normalized. My diabetes has totally improved.
Everyone is telling me now how much healthier I look, and I'm telling everyone how much healthier I feel. I recommend Heart and Body Extract to everyone.
Anybody over 40 in the North American continent should be using this product as a preventative to keep their cardiovascular system healthy.
Order your 2-month supply today by calling 866-295-5305. That's 866-295-5305. Or order online, hbextract.com. Heart and Body Extract, 866-295-5305 or hbextract.com.
Ross Ulbricht was convicted in early 2015 of running the infamous Silk Road Underground Market. The Silk Road was a gift to humanity and helped reduce the harms brought on by drug prohibition. For this good deed, Ross has been sentenced to life in prison with no possibility of parole. Now, an appeal is Ross's only chance, and he needs your support. Please visit freeross.org, where you can contribute via various methods, including Bitcoin. Visit freeross.org. That's freeross.org. For years, LRN.FM has had a listen line that you can call and listen to LRN.FM anytime. Now we're taking the idea to a new level with the LRN.FM audio on demand line. You can call 641-793-9660 anytime and listen to LRN.FM's live feed, and you can listen to a bunch of our original shows on demand. Long distance fees may apply. Just dial 641-793-9660 and choose from the menu. 641-793-9660.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 2 is next after the news here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
From Keene in the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Darryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Friday, September 29th, 2017. Silver is trading at $16.83 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,286 per ounce. Bitcoin is trading at 3.3 cents, and the average price of Bitcoin is $4,136. Antiwar.com reports the Spanish government continues to escalate raids in the last few days before Catalonia's independence referendum and threatens to arrest more and more Catalan leaders to try to undermine the vote. Police have been raiding printing presses and every place they can think of that might contain ballot boxes and papers, and announced on Thursday that they had seized more than 6 million paper ballots and 100 ballot boxes at a warehouse. The company that owns the sites denies that what was seized was related to the Catalan referendum, rather saying what was seized were the ballot boxes and papers that were provided regularly to the FC Barcelona soccer team. FC Barcelona confirmed that the company indeed does make such provisions, but cannot confirm if it was their ballot boxes that were taken. The Spanish government claims that referendums are inherently undemocratic. Spanish Foreign Minister Alfonso Dastis claimed separatists were using Nazi tactics to intimidate opponents, adding, "Referendums are a weapon of choice of dictators." The UN has criticized Spain for cracking down on Catalonia's public. Catalan leaders insist that they are confident the referendum will be held in an orderly fashion, irrespective of the Spanish police actions. For over 40 years, Roberts & Roberts Brokerage has been a trusted source for buying and selling precious metals. Gold, silver, platinum, and palladium. They don't feed the banks. They're Bitcoin preferred and have removed the minimum purchase amount for all orders paid in the digital currency. Call Roberts & Roberts Brokerage today for knowledgeable advice on buying and selling precious metals and a forward-thinking approach to new technologies. 800-874-9760 or visit online at rrbi.co. UPI reports a federal judge in Louisiana has ruled against an anonymous police officer trying to sue the Black Lives Matter movement. The unnamed Baton Rouge police officer brought the suit after he said he was hit by a rock-like object and suffered serious injuries during protest over the police shooting of Alton Sterling, a 37-year-old man who was shot dead while officers pinned him to the ground in 2016. The officer sued Black Lives Matter and associated activist Darryl McKesson, whom the officers claimed in court documents incited the violence. The officer said McKesson and the movement should have known that the physical contact, riot, and demonstration that they staged would become violent. Middle District of Louisiana Chief Judge Brian Jackson dismissed the suit against McKesson and Black Lives Matter. In dropping Black Lives Matter from the suit, Jackson wrote that it represents a social movement that lacks the capacity to be sued. Addressing McKesson's role in the protest and subsequent lawsuit, Jackson wrote the activist was exercising his constitutional right to association and that he solely engaged in protected speech at the demonstration that took place in Baton Rouge. In 2115 New England, there are no borders, no states, and no regulations, yet never has a more peaceful and prosperous place existed. Anarchy in New England by Joe Jarvis is available from Amazon.com and all major bookstores. Reuters reports Apple Incorporated has received more than 4 times as many national security-related requests from the U.S. government in the first half of 2017 versus 1 year ago, according to a company report on Thursday. Apple said it had received between 13,250 and 13,499 national security requests, affecting between 9,000 and 9,249 users. That compares with a range of 2,750 and 2,999 requests, affecting between 2,000 and 2,200 449 users in the first half of 2016. The requests come in the form of so-called national security letters and requests under the Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Act, or FISA. Apple and other companies report ranges because government rules prevent disclosing precise numbers. Apple declined comment beyond the figures they released. The disclosures are voluntary, and firms like Microsoft and Facebook have yet to report any figures for 2017. Alphabet's Google said they had received between 0 and 499 national security letters requesting information on between 1,000 and 1,499 users in the first half of 2016. Its 2017 FISA request numbers were not yet available. It was not immediately clear what drove the increase in requests to Apple, but Andrew Crocker, staff attorney with the Electronic Frontier Foundation, said the number of government requests to tech companies had been increasing since 2014 when data first started to become available as part of a settlement between tech firms and the federal government. This has been FPP Radio News, online at fppradio.com.
The total loser's corpse contained no traces of drugs or alcohol, and a superstitious Delta Airlines adds busty mermaids to its plane noses. My friend, you look like you are in need of the world's finest internet news summaries. Please come in and warm yourself by the fire of knowledge. This is the Onion Week in Review. A new law passed in Colorado this week will allow residents with a doctor's prescription to purchase medicinal fireworks, saying that those in need of stargazers, firecrackers, and Galleria highlights now need only obtain a doctor's prescription. State officials expressed hope that the law would ease the suffering of those in need of huge, dazzling explosions. And in this week's op-ed pages, a man notes that, like it or not, we all die, then get dug up and molested. In other news, white male privilege is squandered on a job at Best Buy, and a local TCBY has missed the past 2 logo changes. Well, that's it for now. Goodbyes are bittersweet, my love, so I'll only tell you, for more, keep checking theonion.com.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
This is Free Talk Live. You dial toll free, bring up whatever you want. Our number here is 855-450-FREE, like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. In the studio tonight here, beautiful Keene, New Hampshire, it's Ian,
Will,
and Darryl.
We're going to go to your calls and thoughts, whether you want to talk about bad restaurant service, which is where we started the show tonight, or the Darknet marketplaces, another alleged admin of a different Darknet marketplace than the ones previously had been busted, has now been busted. We'll tell you about what happened and why he got picked up for going to a beard competition. Beard, the thing you grow on your face. He went to a competition for that and got arrested by U.S. Drug Enforcement Administration.
I think the strangest thing for me is the fact that there's a beard competition.
It is Austin.
I know they're all over the place now. It's like these
beard competitions?
Yeah.
I knew that there were mustache competitions. I did not realize there were beard competitions.
Octopuses and weird curl. It's craziness. They grow them super long.
Now, you've got a long beard. How long have you been growing that one?
Like since it was trimmed, or how long have I had one on my face like this?
Good question. I guess either way.
Well, since it was trimmed was probably about maybe a month ago.
Mm-hmm.
But how long have I had it on my face? Let's see. My daughter is 17. The last time that she saw me without a beard, she was 8.
Wow. All right.
So
we're going to talk more about the bearded alleged drug darknet marketplace admin here in moments. But first, let's go to Ralph. He's in New Jersey. You're on Free Talk Live. Hello, Ralph.
You know, I like to talk about Colin Kaepernick, that thug animal, ghetto funk ass. Okay? He was the one who set the fire, who set NFL on fire.
He set who on fire?
He didn't start fires.
What are you saying happened here?
Well, Colin Kaepernick.
He's a football player.
Right.
And he's known for kneeling.
Right now.
Taking a knee.
He's this thug animal.
What makes him a thug animal? I mean, are there allegations that Colin Kaepernick has actually beaten someone up? Or
No. See, we know that Ralph is a bigot.
No, right. Ralph is totally on the records.
And Colin Kaepernick doesn't appropriately pay homage to the red, white, and blue cloth with stars and stripes in the way that Ralph thinks should be done. So therefore, thug animal.
And many people in this country, not just Ralph, and many people across this country. Okay.
But there's only one bigot on the phone right now. We're not talking to 20 million bigots. We're talking to Ralph.
All right. Can I talk now? Let me say something clear here. Okay.
Nothing you say is ever clear, but we do our best to understand and ask for clarification because we're trying our best to communicate with you despite.
Okay, I'm trying my best. I'm trying my best to clarify something to you as well, or make something clear to you, and that is. What's behind this whole situation with Colin Kaepernick is white.
What is this? So hold on, wait a minute. There is no situation with Colin Kaepernick. Isn't he even not playing? Is he even playing this year?
He currently is unsigned.
Right. Why are you still talking about this guy? He's not even
the same reason he blames Obama for everything because he's a bigot.
Make an example out of his get a funk ass and thug animal sorry ass. For all the rest of them.
You don't have to get profane. The words coming out of your mouth are offensive enough as it is, Ralph. You don't have to unnecessarily pepper your vocabulary with. All right, you can't say that. Goodbye. Thanks for the call tonight. The toll-free number here is 855-450-FREE, 855-450-3733. If you had some sort of intelligent thing to say, and we know you don't in this case, but if you had something intelligent to say, you could just come out and say it rather than slinging around a bunch of insults and profanities. It just doesn't really...
Right, but see, that's the way that the right, and I really hate using the terms the right and the left, but it's terms that people understand. Those on, quote-unquote, the right will say... The people on the left just try to shut down stuff by pointing out that somebody's a racist or a bigot, but yet the people on the right try to shut down the conversation by throwing around their own terms or saying you're virtue signaling by stating that I'm opposed to bigotry when there's a bunch of people running around claiming to represent or believe what I believe that are promoting bigotry. Yeah, I kind of do have to say I'm not a bigot. And I know that there was the thing, and some people might get upset that I mentioned Tom Woods in a negative light here, but Tom Woods posted, well, when are all the libertarians going to sign petitions against cancer? Well, if there were libertarians walking around or purported libertarians walking around advocating, in favor of cancer, then yes, I would say I'm against cancer.
Yeah, I see what you're saying there. I agree. I mean, if you're doing, especially if you're doing a radio show and there's somebody going off and saying bigoted, horrible things on your air, you don't want somebody who's just tuning in to come to the conclusion that, oh, they're tolerating what this person is saying, so therefore they agree with it.
Or that is what the show itself is.
Right.
Because if I hear 30 seconds straight of that kind of nonsense, I'm just going to be like, wow, these people are idiots. And
you'll punch out. You'll change the channel.
And a lot of shows back home, like back in Tennessee, there would be these libertarian shows that would come on at nighttime, and their signal wouldn't be as strong as the other local shows would be, so it'd be kind of like hazy sounding. And if you've got a caller that's got, you could totally be like, oh, well, that's just some insane, like, Richard Butler from Falls Lake, Idaho kind of radio show and never want to go back and check it out again.
Yeah. You'll come to a conclusion relatively quickly. Most people, when they're listening to the radio, certainly do that. So I don't blame anybody, and especially if we're talking about not even just on the radio, but in a social circle where you cannot control the people necessarily that show up. So as you mentioned, like the Libertarian Party, something that all three of us have been involved in at various different levels throughout the years. You've got a bunch of, let's not say racist, but conservative types coming in there and talking about how they want, not small government on everything, but small government on some things, but not everything, or whatever it is that they're saying. And you're like, well, over here, we like freedom on every issue. We're real libertarians here. That's, I think, a good thing. It's important to separate yourself and to be clear about what you believe, so as to not be confused with people like Chris Cantwell.
Right. And, the point that I was making is you've got people on, both of the major sides that will just throw out little ad hominems to try to shut down the discussion while pointing fingers and saying, they're trying to shut down discussion.
So if you want to join us here, our toll-free number is 855-450-FREE, like freedom. His name, Gal Valerius. He is an alleged administrator of the Darknet marketplace called Dream Market.
Right, and we were talking before the break about why some people were suspicious of the Dream Market. And still are. Well, obviously still are now that one of the people got busted. But there were reports over the summer where some of the code leaked, and apparently part of what was in that code that leaked was a non-encrypted IP address.
And so what they were saying was, well, because anybody who was on the site could have found this IP address, that means the federal government probably found it because they were likely watching like a hawk, given that Dream Market is one of the current top darknet markets out there.
Yes.
And if this was indeed the IP address of the server itself that was running the website, then it would be a trivial matter at that point for the law enforcement to contact whatever other law enforcement happened to be in that area and say, hey, look, let's get a warrant
and
here.
Then contact Swedish hosting company Lupia AB because that's where the IP address traces back to.
And then seize hold of that server and then take over operations, just like they did with Hansa Market, one of the other markets that got taken down. So I think that's a legitimate concern. Like, red alert, this could very well be an occupied market as far as the federal government is concerned. So that takes us to where we are now with Gal Valerius, age 38, who was involved as an administrator, I guess. I don't know if it was like on the site or the forum or whatever, but he was definitely somewhere in administrative capacity with the Dream Market. We'll tell you about what they found on his laptop, allegedly, when he arrived at Atlanta International Airport from France, and more about how his bust apparently went down. You can share your thoughts with us, whether it's on Darknet Markets or whatever's on your mind. This is Free Talk Live.
The young lady from the rescue delivered happy, and I panicked. He was missing hair, stinky, scabby, and I thought, what did I get us into? The cause of his issue was poor nutrition. It was neglect. The other owners didn't care enough about him to give him the nutrition he needed. But I have a vet that I trust, and she recommended Dinovite, DINOVITE.com. I ordered the first 90-day supply, and within a couple weeks, his skin started clearing up. He didn't smell. He had more energy. He just had a glow and a bounce about him. We've been using Dinovite for the last year, and Happy the rescue dog is Happy the healthy dog. I tell all my friends who have rescues to give their dog the chance at a new start with Dinovite. It's going to pay off for you and your dog for years to come.
859-428-1000.
859-428-1000. DINOVITE.com.
I got my Blink home security system delivered right to my door. I downloaded the app and it walked me right through the easy setup. Even with my complicated router system, I was done in like 10 minutes. Now it notifies me whenever something moves in front of the wireless cameras, or I can just check it whenever I want right from my phone. And I got you a deal. Get 3 Blink cams for what the other guys charge you for 1, plus an extra 10% off. Visit blinkprotect.com/FTL. blinkprotect.com/FTL. blinkprotect.com/FTL.
Do you want to help build a better financial system for everyone? Join Dash. Dash is Digital Cash, a digital money platform designed to replace cash and help people manage their own wealth. It's fast and easy, fees are low, and transactions are confirmed instantly. Dash is decentralized, run by users who earn rewards for helping run the network and make governance decisions. Dash is set up to succeed where other platforms have failed. Give it a try at dash.org. Help people take control over their financial future today. Find out more at dash.org.
Since time began, tyrants have taken aim at personal liberties. Now there's a movie that aims back.
The government has no more right to tell us what to put in our bodies than they have to take our guns or tell us what books we can read.
6 drug police were eaten by bears while raiding a marijuana farm.
On your knees, you dirty hippies! Jesus. On your knees! What's the problem, officer?
Today, many cops who enforce pot laws do so only because it provides them with cushy jobs, good benefits, and a chance to push people around.
I was an undercover narcotics officer. The drug war is nothing but a farce.
The Second Amendment says you got to keep you and your gat intact.
Guns and Weed, the road to freedom. a film by Michael W. Dean and Nima Vadadi.
DVD available now at gunsandweed.com or on Amazon. That's gunsandweed.com. Makes the perfect gift. Remember, that's gunsandweed.com.
The three most important things you can do for Free Talk Live are: 1. Share one episode a week on Facebook or in some other social networking site. 2. Buy the things you buy online through shop.freetalklive.com. 3. Give $5 a month to the AMP program. You likely buy all kinds of things online. Amazon is the largest online retailer. You can get what you need at the same prices with free Super Saver shipping by going to shop.freetalklive.com. Please do your online shopping at shop.freetalklive.com.
So you've signed the Shire Society Declaration and are planning your move to New Hampshire to be around more liberty-oriented people. Next, sign up for the Shire Society Forum at forum.shiresociety.com. There are a bunch of people there who are already in the Shire, and they want to meet you. If you're already in the Shire physically, you should also come by the forums. Remember, not everyone uses Facebook. New people are signing up for the Shire Society Forum every month, so drop in and say hello at forum.shiresociety.com.
While our satellite channel is free to listen to, it's not free for us. You can help us cover our satellite costs with the chip-in on the right side of the page at lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live, and you can bring up anything that you want. Just dial in toll-free to join us here at 855-450-FREE, like freedom. More about the arrest of an alleged administrator of one of the current Darknet markets, the so-called Dream Market. We'll tell you about that here in moments. And want to let you know about the Blink home security system that I've been doing some experimenting with. Mark's got his set up at his house. I did set one of them up here, and it was pretty easy to get it rolling. And I was like, oh, God, I don't know how much time this is going to take because I'm pretty busy. But it actually was pretty simple. You just set up the little box, and then you connect the camera to the box, and it's all done wirelessly via your smartphone. So you don't actually have to do like much wiring at all. You just kind of pick a place, you put the camera up, then you put this little box somewhere else that's not in the same room as the camera, I don't think. And then you can go to blinkprotect.com/FTL. This, what it does, it's got motion detection. And so if you're going into the back room here at LRN.FM, which isn't traveled very much, so when somebody goes in there, it's going to go off, and it will send a clip of what happens to your smartphone.
Interesting.
So you can actually see who it was that went into the place in question. And if you go to blinkprotect.com, you'll get 3 Blink cams for what the other guys charge for 1, plus an extra 10% off. I'm sorry, blinkprotect.com/FTL. That's blinkprotect.com/FTL, like Free Talk Live. All right, so we were talking about the story here out of MiamiHerald.com. Gal Valerius, the author Jay Weaver, writes, he's not Pablo Escobar, not by a long shot, but authorities say Gal Valerius is a modern version of a cartel kingpin, operating anonymously as a lord of the internet's dark web bazaar, where buyers and sellers conduct cocaine, fentanyl, meth, LSD, and oxycodone deals in the virtual currency Bitcoin. Valerius, age 38, recently made the mistake of traveling from his base in France to Texas to compete in a World Beard Growing Championship in Austin. After arriving on August 31st in Atlanta, the brown-bearded Valerius was arrested by U.S. authorities on a distribution complaint filed in Miami federal court.
So does it say whether he was going through customs in Atlanta where he wound up getting picked up here? It says he was trying to go to Austin.
Yeah.
And I just know that, the way Atlanta Airport is set up, that is an international airport. There's a lot of foreign flights coming in, so everybody does go through customs if they're coming in.
Yeah,
on
I couldn't
one of
tell you
those.
if he went, if he got busted at customs, but it would make the most sense that he did. I mean, he was coming in from France. That's his first contact with the U.S. so-called authorities, and they got him. Whether it was at customs or as soon as he left customs, he didn't get out of the airport before they popped him in Atlanta.
Okay.
So he never made it to Austin. Quote, a border search of his laptop upon his arrival at Atlanta International Airport confirmed his identity as Oxy Monster, they claim. This according to a DEA affidavit. Valerius's laptop also contained the Tor browser, which allows users to conceal their true Internet Protocol addresses on the Tor network, which you described a little bit earlier. It stands for the Onion Router is what Tor stands for. And the idea is it protects via layering different IP addresses and servers.
Am I hearing this right, that they're saying that the fact that he had the Tor browser was suspicious to them?
Well, apparently he kept his login credentials for the Dream Market administrative account that he had. This is according to the allegations, right? They claim that they went on his laptop, which they were obviously able to get access to somehow, so maybe an unencrypted laptop, or he gave them the password, one or the other. And then on that laptop, they then found not only the Tor browser, but a text file or something that had his login information for the Dream Market for username Oxy Monster, which was one of the usernames that has administrative access on the site.
How convenient.
So, again, how much of that is true, we don't know. It's coming from the federal government, and they're not known for being honest.
And I wonder if he sings a little song, O is for Oxy, and Oxy is for me. Yum, 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 yum.
It reminds me of what's that movie? Spaceballs. Like, what's the password for all the oxygen in your atmosphere? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
That sounds like the password some idiot would have on his luggage.
Yeah.
Stay right here.
I've got to go change the password on my luggage. Tor account? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
So according to this, they also, in addition to finding his login credentials for Dream Market, the underground marketplace, they also found a cool $500,000 worth of Bitcoin. So
I mean, could use a donation.
If all of that's true, then that's going to be some hard evidence for him to overcome.
That just seems so convenient, though. Like, you're telling me that you run like you're one of the administrators for one of the only surviving black market sites.
Yep.
And you are just like
sloppy.
That not just sloppy. That's more than sloppy, my man. That come on. That there's sloppy and then there's that. Like that's like too good to be true,
Valerius chose.
I just walked in and the candlestick with his fingerprints were right there.
There's more about how he screwed it up beforehand. Like how do they figure out who to bust is the question, right? Like they found this guy. It wasn't just like an accident that they found his login information. They were looking for him to come to that airport, and they were waiting for him. And we'll tell you the rest of the story here. Valerius chose not to contest his identity and detention at a court hearing in Atlanta. Defense attorney there could not be reached for comment. He is expected to be transferred to Miami to face a new conspiracy indictment that carries up to life in prison. Tracking down Valerius, the biggest of a half-dozen dark web targets charged over the past year in South Florida, was not easy. It involved the DEA, FBI, IRS, Homeland Security Investigations, and the U.S. Postal Inspection Service. Valerius played the secret role of an administrator and moderator on Dream Market, a dark website that allows illicit drug sellers and buyers to make deals in Europe and the United States without revealing their true identities. And I think the rest of the world as well. It's not just Europe and the United States. Basically, as long as somebody is in a country willing to sell you a certain thing, then you can buy that certain thing on these darknet marketplaces. So they're worldwide,
huge everywhere. Well, the coolest Bitcoin T-shirt that I own, I bought from a guy in Israel.
That's awesome.
So and that was 4 years ago when I bought that shirt.
So, according to the story here, it also obscures people's identities. According to federal prosecutor Francisco Madero, the underground site is not only a marketplace, it provides technical assistance, resolves disputes, and posts reviews of vendors. And like eBay, Dream Market charges a commission on every transaction as a percentage of the sales price. Quote, the Dream Market website is specifically designed to facilitate illegal commerce by working to ensure the anonymity of its administrators, as well as the buyers and sellers who participate in commerce on the website, according to the DEA affidavit. It noted that at the end of August, there were more than 94,000 listings, including drugs such as opioids, ecstasy, and steroids. And that's a lot of listings. I remember when we were talking about the Silk Road back in the day, I think it had like 6 to 12,000 listings or something like that. And so we're talking about they haven't stopped. Not only have they not stopped the darknet marketplaces, but they're now more popular than they've ever been. Remember the study that came out, I think it was earlier this year over in the UK, where they actually talked to drug users who would admit using drugs, and they said 1 out of 4 of them made purchases on the dark web.
In the previous 12 months.
Correct. So it's just getting more and more popular because, well, frankly, it's safer. More coming up.
North Korea openly threatens the U.S. and launches a new missile every other week. Their warhead of choice? Electromagnetic pulse. Such an event would cripple the U.S. power grid for years and leave millions in the dark. Are you ready? You can be with a Solarc EMP-hardened solar generator. Solarc works day in and day out to keep your essentials protected. You can have peace of mind knowing your power will be there when you most need it. Visit PortableSolarLLC.com to see EMP testing. That's PortableSolarLLC.com. Energy insurance for your family.
Hunters, anglers, campers, and survivalists. Get back to nature. Expand your horizons with the highest quality, most versatile, unique slingshots and sling bows on the market at slingbow.com. Slingbow products are compact and models start from just $17.98. They're perfect for your bug-out bag or storing in your vehicle. Give yourself and your loved ones the excitement and tradition of Slingbow, a new frontier in archery and truly modern twist on this primitive survival tool. Feel the thrill only at slingbow.com.
The warning signs.
At first, he made me feel special. He promised he'd look after me, provide for my future. He broke every promise he made.
Millions of Americans afflicted.
I was ready to leave, but he told me he'd change. So I gave him another chance. I was such a fool.
The consequences.
Things only got worse. He started making my decisions for me, about my job, my kids' education, my money, my safety, my future. He took away my choices, but I kept going back to the same politicians.
The diagnosis? Battered voter syndrome.
I fell for the same old lies. They were just playing with my emotions, telling me what I wanted to hear. That's not right.
If you're tired of the two-party system but want to support a principled Libertarian Party, check out the Libertarian Party of New Hampshire at lpnh.org. That's lpnh.org. The new 4th edition of Healing Our World, The Compassion of Libertarianism, will take your understanding of liberty to a deeper level and has over 1,300 updated references, new cartoons, and a foreword by Dr. Ron Paul. With discounts for multiple book purchases, the 4th edition of Healing Our World is a great gift for the liberals, pragmatists, environmentalists, and Christians in your life who think libertarianism is cold-hearted. Get yours today at healing.freetalklive.com and use promo code FTL for a $5 discount. If you want to know the latest about Free Talk Live before we go on the air, all you need to decide is how you want it delivered. It's your choice. Visit news.freetalklive.com. You can get emailed announcements and participate in contests via our email updates list. Plus, we have a Twitter account that you can follow and a Facebook page where you can become a fan. So visit news.freetalklive.com to get news about Free Talk Live as soon as it's announced and the way you want it delivered at news.freetalklive.com. That's news.freetalklive.com. Why did you move to the Shire?
I moved here to the Shire because there's other people around who take liberty just as seriously as I do.
I moved to the Shire because I saw videos of people challenging authority and thought that I could get support myself. It called to me, like, do this right now.
I wanted to be around people like me who got it. And once I got here, I knew there was nowhere else that I wanted to be.
I've always wanted to change the world. So I moved to the Shire to join people who were actually working towards doing the same thing.
The people here are awesome, loving, and positive. It was for the adventure and for the feeling of something important is happening here. And I just wanted to come to sort of be part of that.
Visit ShireSociety.com to read and sign the Shire Society Declaration and learn the reasons why, if you love liberty, you should immigrate to the Shire. Plus, add yourself to the Shire map at ShireSociety.com. That's ShireSociety.com.
Help get LRN.FM into more ears. Visit promote.lrn.fm for a free bumper sticker, flyers, banners, graphics, and more. Promote.lrn.fm.
This This is Free Talk Live, and you can bring up anything that you want. Take control of the airwaves toll free here at 855-450-FREE, like Freedom, 855-450-3733. We're talking about Darknet marketplaces. What brings them up again is there's been yet another bust. Unfortunately, the lifespan of these Darknet marketplaces seems to be at best about 2 years before they either get they'll either disappear in what they call an exit scam, where the people who are running the site the whole time intended to just run off with the money, and so they put up a legit-looking site that works, and people start to trust it, and they start leaving amounts of Bitcoin on the site, and then if you've got this site that they haven't taken down the site yet, but one of the administrators allegedly got busted, had 90,000 items on it for sale.
Well, I mean, the site's down.
No, it's still up.
But it's down. I mean, come on.
It's hopping, dude.
Then you have some really stupid people out there.
So,
of course there are stupid people out there.
People want drugs, and they are willing to take a high level of risk in order to get those drugs.
Really high level. Like, at this point, it's a really good chance it's a cop on the other end.
There's a chance that the site itself has been infiltrated. However, isn't Silk Road 3 still around out there? I know the last time I looked earlier this year, it was still there, but it's not listed on all of the sites. So I was just looking at, I think it was it Deep.web? I think Deep.web is one of the sites that does Darknet news. So I was looking on their site to see if they had this story, and I couldn't find one. Maybe they posted one today, but when I was looking last night, I couldn't find one. But they do have a list of the different Darknet markets, and I didn't see Silk Road 3 on there, so maybe it's gone, but I think it might have still been up the last time I looked. Anyway, the reason I'm mentioning that is Silk Road 2, when Silk Road relaunched as Silk Road 2 after the first one was taken down, the same undercover agent who had infiltrated Silk Road 1 was one of the initial administrators on Silk Road 2. So from day number 1, Silk Road 2 was infiltrated by the federal government, but that didn't stop thousands of drug transactions from happening on that site. And one of the reasons why, even if the federal government is running and look, I'm not saying use Dream Market. I'm not making the argument to use Dream Market, but I'm making the argument that could be used by someone who would use Dream Market. Even if it's being monitored by the federal government, unless they're using some sort of exploit like they did with the PlayPal hack, or the Playpen hack last year, where the federal government took over a porn site and then put some kind of as yet unidentified, what they call network investigative technique.
Well, you heard what they did for Hansa and the other one, didn't you?
No, tell me about that.
We covered this on, it must have been a Thursday when you weren't here.
Okay.
They wound up putting some kind of script in an Excel file to where the sellers were able to download the transaction stuff.
Oh, wow.
Originally, it was a text file.
Yeah.
For some reason, and the reason was because, whatever federal authority was running, I forget if it was the U.S. or the Dutch, they converted it to an Excel file and had a macro running.
In. Right.
And the macro was then getting info from the computer.
Really?
Yes. So they weren't even doing this network investigative thing that was done by the FBI.
They had a different
just wound up putting a macro in an Excel file.
And that approach would have targeted the sellers in that particular case.
Correct.
So they wouldn't have been able to target the buyers. So from the buyer's perspective, if you are doing proper security, which is to say you're encrypting information with the seller's PGP info, and as long as the seller is not a federal agent themselves, as long as the seller is a legitimate, drug seller on one of these sites, if the seller receives your PGP encrypted information and you don't use this, because some of the Darknet sites, they'll have you can use us to encrypt your PGP information. It's no. You don't want to let the site do that for you, because then you're still sending plain text, your text to the site, and it's supposedly encrypting it to the... No. You want to do your own PGP encryption, however it is you do that, then send your information to the seller. And if that's how you do it, And again, if the seller is not a federal agent, then at that point, the sale should go through. The person who's buying should get the stuff that they bought, and it should be relatively safe, even if the site is being operated by the federal government. Does that make sense, what I'm saying there?
Yes, makes perfect sense. And then a little bit of extra security precaution, if you will. Don't wind up getting things shipped directly to your house. There are services that you can use to where you will wind up getting a private mailbox. Don't use, a P.O. box, because certain packages, they won't deliver to P.O. boxes. So, have something to where it's not necessarily coming directly to you, to where you have an extra layer of plausible deniability.
Have they been busting customers, though? I haven't heard anything about that.
I've not heard anything about that, but it's always a good idea if you're ordering something questionable.
Well, plus the problem might actually end up being that if they ever do bust customers, it might be because they busted a dealer and that dealer wasn't like burning the customer lists.
Right.
If the dealer had been saving all of the addresses to which the dealer had been shipping things,
right,
and they're not supposed to do that. But if they had been doing that, then they've got a whole customer itinerary, and they can, in theory, go and investigate all of those people, too.
Right. And what was the number that you gave earlier for how many listings were on Dream Market?
94,000 listings as of the end of August when they busted this.
95,934.
You're getting that from somewhere else right now, right? That may or may not be you logged into.
That's a number that I was able to access just a couple of minutes ago.
Right. From some source that let you know what the Dream Market listings total was.
48,000 of those are classified as drugs, 333 as drug paraphernalia.
Now, I don't think they give you this kind of statistical information. Obviously, the administrators would know, but I'd be curious to know, of the 94,000, because one dealer can have multiple listings.
Correct.
So how many actual sellers are there at any given moment? I bet you it's a few thousand at least, maybe several thousand sellers on that site at any given moment. That's a lot of investigating to do. That's not to say they wouldn't try.
Right.
But they're going to go after the big fish. They're going to go after the ones in a lot of cases, sometimes they'll accidentally find it. Like, I forget which seller on which market it was, but I remember once we talked about somebody who got popped because on whatever, equipment they move the mail around, one of the boxes had gotten torn open accidentally, and some cocaine spilled out or something like that, and they're like, oh, well, we better figure out where this came from. And then they went back and they looked at the video files from the post office where it was shipped from, and they found who it was that had allegedly shipped it, and then they put a tail on that person and started following them around. And what do you know? They found out that these people were going to different post offices every single day, shipping multiple packages from different post offices, and eventually they picked them up. So
going to different post offices, that's suspicious behavior.
Well, it's actually cocaine spilling out of a package was probably what the suspicious behavior was.
Technically, that's conspiracy. Actually,
to go to different
post offices, I'm sure they would try to stretch that into a conspiracy charge easily.
Yeah. So back to the story here. They busted one of the alleged admins of the Dream Market. In January, DEA agents went into Dream Market's homepage and clicked on the forum link, which allows the sellers and such to discuss things there, while most of these sites have their own dedicated forum. While browsing the forum, agents navigated to a topic called Official Staff under the Announcements tab. The first posting was written by Oxy Monster, which they claim was this man's alias, even though agents had not yet made that connection at that time. Agents clicked on Oxy Monster's profile and were taken there, which then said he was a senior moderator. This summer, agents also identified Oxy Monster as a vendor on Dream Market who shipped from France to anywhere in Europe, as well as to the United States. And we'll tell you more about how they say they figured out who this guy was coming up here in moments. Have you wanted to get into Bitcoin mining but don't want to deal with the hassle and frustration of operating the mining hardware? Let pool.bitcoin.com handle it for you like I did. Just visit pool.bitcoin.com and use their calculator to estimate what you could end up making. You get to decide which Bitcoin you want to mine. If you already have mining equipment, you're invited to join pool.bitcoin.com. Get all the details and get started mining Bitcoin at pool.bitcoin.com.
Happy, the rescue dog. He was missing hair, stinky, scabby, but I have a vet that I trust, and she recommended Dinovite.
Order a 90-day supply of Dinovite for your dog this week.
We'll send you a bottle of Super Mega Fish Oil free.
Packed with omega-3, DHA, and EPA fatty acids.
Super Mega is great for your dog's immune system, healthy skin, and soft, shiny fur.
Try Super Omega Fish Oil.
Free this week at Dinovite.com.
DINOVITE.com.
With nearly 70 years of history engineering bunkers, today, Atlas Survival Shelters is still the authority. Atlas offers 18 different choices, from commercial tornado shelters to underground nuclear fallout shelters, starting at just $99.99 with 100% financing available, comfortable interiors, and state-of-the-art air filtration systems. Atlas Survival Shelters are the most popular private survival shelters in the world. Call 1-855-4BUNKER now or visit atlassurvivalshelters.com.
Anytime, any place, anywhere, radio remains the most intimate of all forms of media. At home, at work, in the car, on smartphones. Over 90% of consumers still listen to radio every week. That makes choosing radio as a place to advertise your business one of the best decisions you can make. Email advertise@gcnlive.com and partner up with an experienced GCN representative. Advertise@gcnlive.com. Easy, affordable, effective.
So the protection of life, liberty, and property is what the Free State Project is all about. But it's an effort to move 20,000 people who understand.
It's about demonstrating to the entire country
that, yeah, we can have a free market, a truly free market.
Making it just a freer, great place to live.
It's the world's largest voluntarist libertarian community, and it's only getting bigger.
That's amazing, to be able to move to a place where other people passionately believe in being free and independent.
What the Free State Project is managing to do, though, is to put their money where their mouth is. It's physically getting up across the country and saying, let's go someplace and let's demonstrate the power of these ideas. There's a lot of kind of philosophy that surrounds liberty. There's a lot of thinking about it and talking about it. But here in New Hampshire, people are doing it.
101 Reasons Liberty Lives in New Hampshire, a documentary by Free State Project early movers. Watch it free at 101reasonsfilm.com. 101reasonsfilm.com.
Here's a chance to do a little activism while you're cruising Facebook, Twitter, or Google+. Between the LOL cats, the recipes, the hot girls, and the inspirational sunrise memes, Free Talk Live's posts pass by your newsfeed. Like them, comment. It gives us more exposure. If you don't see our posts, click like at facebook.freetalklive.com and then hover over it to click Get Notifications. It's an easy way to spread the ideas of liberty a bit further. I know you're busy, but you can spare that tenth of a calorie it takes to click on something. Facebook.freetalklive.com.
Cell 411 is a free app for Android and iOS that replaces government-controlled 911. Cell 411 allows you to preset a group of friends or private organizations to show up at any emergency. Cell 411 is a nightmare for the state because it proves their so-called services aren't needed. Cell 411 has had thousands of installs, and of course it's covered by the BIPCOT no government license. Cell 411 because your friends won't shoot you when you're in trouble. Without the government, who would build the emergency services? You and Cell 411. Get it today at getcell411.com.
This is the Liberty Radio Network, broadcasting the latest liberty-oriented audio content 24 hours a day at LRN.FM.
Free Talk Live. You dial toll-free. Join us on the radio. Bring up anything that you want. Our number here is 855-450-FREE like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. And if you want to help build a better financial system for everyone, join Dash. Dash is digital cash. It's a digital money platform designed to replace cash and help people manage their own wealth. It's fast, it can be private and easy, fees are low, transactions are quick, and they can be confirmed instantly. You can pay anyone, anywhere in the world, anytime for just pennies on the dollar. Dash is decentralized and run by users who earn rewards for helping run the Dash network and make governance decisions. Anyone can invest in Dash and earn rewards for helping run the Dash network. So join Dash and help create a better financial system for everyone. Take back control over your financial future today. Find out more at Dash.org. There's a lot of momentum behind Dash right now. Go to Dash.org and find out why. Of course, you can bring up anything that you want. Toll-free number here is 855-450-FREE like freedom. How did they bust Oxy Monster, one of the administrators? And I'm not sure if he was an administrator of just the forum of Dream Market or of the site itself, but regardless, it is still an interesting story. They popped him when he flew in from France, which is where he was living, flying into Atlanta, ultimately to then change planes and go to Austin for a beard growing competition. And he does have quite a beard. It does, in the photo here, appear to go... I mean, it could be the angle of the camera,
so
but it looks
on
like...
the scale of Will Coley to ZZ Top.
ZZ Top level for sure.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, the beard itself is probably like twice the length of his head, basically.
I don't like it when it gets that long. It's dry. It's really, really dry really fast. I don't like it when it gets that long.
So,
luckily, we know a guy that sells beard oil.
Really?
Yeah.
Where?
One of the guys from Wheels Off Liberty.
Really?
Yeah.
Is he local?
No.
He lives in Oklahoma.
Oh, well, that doesn't help me.
So
there is this thing called the post office.
Yeah, but then you end up with people at your house.
So in August, agents learned
Like
that
this guy.
the guy calling himself Oxy Monster. Let me see here. That was his username. He shipped out from France to anywhere in Europe and the United States. Agents analyzed his post on the Dream Market forum, including tips that he wrote on how to stay anonymous on the dark web.
I bet his password was I am Oxy Monster 12345.
He didn't have very much security, it appears, on his laptop. They found
his password was password.
Yeah. In August, agents learned that Oxy Monster was using a certain Bitcoin address for his sales transactions. So again, not only was he an administrator of the site, he was also a dealer on the site. And somehow they figured out what his Bitcoin address was. Now, that's one of the things I want to know more about.
He probably had one of those custom Bitcoin addresses, and it was I am Oxy Monster 12345.
But the thing is, when you're on one of these websites, the dealers aren't sharing their own personal addresses. It's the site itself.
Right, but the payout on the back end,
which suggests that they have access to the back end of the website, right? Like, how else did they find out where his payouts were going to? Because the average...
Well, again, if he had one of these custom Bitcoin addresses of like one Oxy something something, and he's got on his laptop, Bitcoin wallet for Dream Market.
No, I get what you're I get what you're saying, but the only way they would know what address he was using as a seller to pay himself out to would be if they had back-end access to the site. The average user on the site does not know what the dealer's personal Bitcoin addresses are.
Correct, but they had access to this guy's laptop.
That's after they busted him. Do you see what I'm saying?
Oh, you're saying before they busted.
Right.
Okay.
We're talking about how they figured out who he was.
Yeah.
How did they find out what his Bitcoin address was unless they had back-end access to the Dream Market site? That's something that's not made clear.
I've got you now.
If you're a Bitcoin user, do not use the Dream Market.
It's generally going to be a bad idea to use Dream Market, I think. But that's my guess here as to how they figured that out. The Miami Herald piece doesn't go into that level of detail. So they then looked at this Bitcoin address that they believed belonged to Oxy Monster and analyzed the incoming and outgoing transactions from that address. Because remember, Bitcoin is a public ledger. If you have an address, you can go and look at that address. You want to go and look at the donations given to the Malik Center, you can go and look at that. If you want to go and look at the Free Talk Live donations on bitcoin.freetalklive.com, because we've been using the same address there for years, you can go and look at that. So they had this address and they analyzed it and they discovered that most of the Bitcoins from the address that he was allegedly taking payouts from the site went to an account on localbitcoins.com under the username
Oxy Monster.
No, under his last name Valerius.
Oh my God!
He used Oxy Monster. He used Oxy Monster on the Darknet site, but then when he was cashing out his Bitcoins using localbitcoins.com, he used Valerius
See, this is why I have to just keep telling these really, really, really corny bad jokes, is because like it was that level.
It's
of
hard to believe how bad.
Yeah, like every time you say another thing that's like next level stupid, I'm beginning to wonder like, this can't be real, right? Like, you're reading this on The Onion, right?
Nope, this is Miami Herald. DEA agents soon found that Valerius also had Instagram and Twitter accounts. They compared the writing style of the username OxyMonster on the forum on Dream Market to the writing style of Mr. Valerius on his social media accounts. Quote, agents discovered many similarities in the use of words and punctuation, including the word cheers, double exclamation marks, frequent use of quotation marks, and intermittent French posts, unquote. So it sounds like they got their man in this particular case.
Well, to me, it sounds like basically if you're a user or like a seller in these types of situations, if
you're at high risk.
Well, not at high risk so much as if you don't draw them a map that even Ray Charles and Stevie Wonder could follow in the middle of, then they really wouldn't be able to find you. Because, I mean, that's what it looks like here. And what they ended up with.
He probably should have been
Road,
mixing his Bitcoin on the way out.
Oh, well, something. I mean, something. Some level of security if you're going to be doing that kind of work. I mean, come on.
Valerius traveled for the first time to the United States on August 31st to participate in the International Beard Competition in Austin, Texas, was arrested in Atlanta. Authorities would soon learn that the contents of his laptop matched up with the DEA's evidence of his Dream Market deals. So if you believe what they say, and again, it is the federal government, they have a propensity to not be honest. But if you believe their allegations in this affidavit, as interpreted by the Miami Herald, which again, as I said, I have not found the actual affidavit. I haven't looked for it. I didn't take the time to do that today. I'm sure it's a little more detailed, but I doubt they're going to explain, as they did not explain how they busted the Silk Road's server location in their affidavit, and nor did they explain that at the trial. They did not. They probably do not explain how they found his Bitcoin withdrawal address, which suggests that it's likely they have taken over Dream Market website.
I wonder if it's possible that they were just monitoring various local Bitcoin addresses that had large transaction amounts and saw, oh, here's a name. Wait, that name sounds kind of similar. And maybe I'm giving them too much credit for being able to add 2 and 2.
No, that wouldn't have been the case, because there would have otherwise been a connection between the name Valerius and OxyMonster if they hadn't have had that key info of the Bitcoin address, which linked them over to his name on local Bitcoin. So that was the linchpin, it seems, based on this explanation, was the fact that they had the withdrawal address that he was using, and the fact that he then was using that same withdrawal address to then feed into his local Bitcoins account. That's what sunk him. As well as the fact that when they allegedly got his laptop, it had all the information that corroborated their allegations against him, including his user and password and that very same probably Bitcoin address.
He like I said, he drew him a map that
he really did.
Ray Charles could follow.
So if you want to comment, you're welcome to join us here. It's always just interesting to share these stories about the darknet markets and how they do some of these takedowns, because maybe some people can learn from these mistakes, hopefully. I mean, we don't want to see darknet markets go away. They are truly, and I believe this, they are truly a service to humanity. What Ross Ulbricht created with the Silk Road, and that has been now duplicated so many times with all these other markets, many of which have been taken down and their administrators have been arrested, and they haven't had the same level of publicity around their arrests as Ross did, and around the trial as Ross did. But, the fact that these things exist, as you mentioned, Will, we said together earlier, that they help keep people safe. It helps keep people safe from the user's perspective. It helps keep people safe from a dealer's perspective. If you're doing business with people you don't know but have a reputation, then that means you're likely going to get the things that they say they're offering. Whereas in the black market that we all grew up in, you never really knew what you were going to get. I
had a cousin that was shot 6 times
in a black market deal.
In a black market deal.
Yeah, you might get killed.
He tried to rip somebody off with fake money and got shot in a bad coke deal. Well, with
karma,
Bitcoin,
man.
you can't do that. With these markets, you have to pay up front.
All right, there's more coming up here in moments. You can join us at 855-450 free, like freedom.
Kiyosaki, Rogers, and Schiff all concur there's an economic calamity that'll be facing this country. My question to you is, do you know when, and are you prepared? Most people don't, but my friends over at Republic Monetary Exchange have been leading experts in precious metals to help you offset the coming economic collapse. Right now, for a limited time, they have a free book called The 10 Reasons You Should Own Gold. You simply need to give them a call at 888-772-2929 to get that in your hands. Do not allow the insiders to do what they did to you in 2008, putting your IRAs, 401ks, and savings in jeopardy. You need this book, and you need it now. The 10 Reasons You Should Own Gold. Call 888-772-2929. That's 888-772-2929. There's a reason that the largest investment banking company in the world, JP Morgan, just purchased another 50 million ounces of silver. This free book will explain it. 888-772-2929.
We've all heard about blockchain assets like Dogecoin, Ether, and Ripple. Bitcoin isn't the only player in the blockchain game any longer. And for those of us wondering how to get our hands on these digital assets, finally, there's a solution. Shapeshift.io allows you to buy and sell between your digital assets and Bitcoin instantly between your own digital wallets. I've used it with ease. Shapeshift.io. There's no account or email address needed. You send them the crypto you want to sell. They send back the crypto you want to buy. It's that easy. Shapeshift.io.
So you've heard all 3 hours of the latest episode of Free Talk Live, and you're still hungry for liberty-oriented audio content? Did you know that we have another 24/7 audio stream at LRN.FM? The Liberty Radio Network airs the latest episodes of some of the best liberty-oriented podcasts on the internet around the clock. In addition to recorded content, you'll also hear live shows like Free Talk Live, originating from our Keene, New Hampshire studio. So listen anytime at LRN.FM. That's LRN.FM.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 3 is next after the news here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
From Keene in the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Darryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Friday, September 29th, 2017. Silver is trading at $16.83 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,286 per ounce. Bitcoin is trading at 3.3 cents, and the average price of Bitcoin is $4,136. Antiwar.com reports the Spanish government continues to escalate raids in the last few days before Catalonia's independence referendum and threatens to arrest more and more Catalan leaders to try to undermine the vote. Police have been raiding printing presses and every place they can think of that might contain ballot boxes and papers, and announced on Thursday that they had seized more than 6 million paper ballots and 100 ballot boxes at a warehouse. The company that owns the sites denies that what was seized was related to the Catalan referendum, rather saying what was seized were the ballot boxes and papers that were provided regularly to the FC Barcelona soccer team. FC Barcelona confirmed that the company indeed does make such provisions, but cannot confirm if it was their ballot boxes that were taken. The Spanish government claims that referendums are inherently undemocratic. Spanish Foreign Minister Alfonso Dastis claims separatists were using Nazi tactics to intimidate opponents, adding, "Referendums are a weapon of choice of dictators." The UN has criticized Spain for cracking down on Catalonia's public. Catalan leaders insist that they are confident the referendum will be held in an orderly fashion, irrespective of the Spanish police actions. For over 40 years, Roberts & Roberts Brokerage has been a trusted source for buying and selling precious metals. Gold, silver, platinum, and palladium. They don't feed the banks. They're Bitcoin preferred and have removed the minimum purchase amount for all orders paid in the digital currency. Call Roberts & Roberts Brokerage today for knowledgeable advice on buying and selling precious metals and a forward-thinking approach to new technologies. 800-874-9760 or visit online at rrbi.co. UPI reports a federal judge in Louisiana has ruled against an anonymous police officer trying to sue the Black Lives Matter movement. The unnamed Baton Rouge police officer brought the suit after he said he was hit by a rock-like object and suffered serious injuries during protest over the police shooting of Alton Sterling, a 37-year-old man who was shot dead while officers pinned him to the ground in 2016. The officer sued Black Lives Matter and associated activist DeRay McKesson, whom the officers claimed in court documents incited the violence. The officer officer said McKesson and the movement should have known that the physical contact, riot, and demonstration that they staged would become violent. Middle District of Louisiana Chief Judge Brian Jackson dismissed the suit against McKesson and Black Lives Matter. In dropping Black Lives Matter from the suit, Jackson wrote that it represents a social movement that lacks the capacity to be sued. Addressing McKesson's role in the protest and subsequent lawsuit, Jackson wrote the activist was exercising his constitutional right to association and that he solely engaged in protected speech at the demonstration that took place in Baton Rouge. In 2115 New England, there are no borders, no states, and no regulations, yet never has a more peaceful and prosperous place existed. Anarchy in New England by Joe Jarvis is available from Amazon.com and all major bookstores. Reuters reports Apple Incorporated has received more than 4 times as many national security-related requests from the U.S. government in the first half of 2017 versus 1 year ago, according to a company report on Thursday. Apple said it had received between 13,250 and 13,499 national security requests, affecting between 9,000 and 9,249 users. That compares with a range of 2,750 and 2,999 requests, affecting between 2,000 and 2,249 users in the first half of 2016. The requests come in the form of so-called national security letters and requests under the Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Act, or FISA. Apple and other companies report ranges because government rules prevent disclosing precise numbers. Apple declined comment beyond the figures they released. The disclosures are voluntary, and firms like Microsoft and Facebook have yet to report any figures for 2017. Alphabet's Google said they had received between 0 and 499 national security letters requesting information on between 1,000 and 1,499 users in the first half of 2016. Its 2017 FISA request numbers were not yet available. It was not immediately clear what drove the increase in requests to Apple, but Andrew Crocker, staff attorney with the Electronic Frontier Foundation, said the number of government requests to tech companies had been increasing since 2014 when data first started to become available as part of a settlement between tech firms and the federal government. This has been FPP Radio News, online at fppradio.com.
Bewildered paralegal Caitlin Levy says that after returning home from work today, it occurred to her that oddly at no point during her day was she harassed, leered at, or made to feel humiliated or physically threatened.
It's weird. Looking back on it, I suddenly realized that not one strange man made a creepy comment at me or an obscene gesture or a sleazy look for like the whole day. How can that be?
The 29-year-old told reporters that even at points in her day when she is traditionally almost certain to be made uncomfortable by at least 1 or 2 leering male strangers, not a single such instance occurred.
I actually got to walk from the train to my office and never once catch some weirdo smiling at me or looking me up and down or slowing down his car to yell some shit out the window at me. I felt weirdly safe or something.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
It's Free Talk Live. We're launching into the third hour of the program. You dial toll-free, take control of the airwaves, and bring up anything that you want. Our number is 855-450, free like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. And Skype in. Skype at Skype username LRN.FM. Joining you in studio tonight, it's Ian.
Will.
And Darryl.
We're going back to your calls and thoughts here. For those of you just tuning in, we were talking about one of the alleged administrators of Dream Market, which is one of the few Darknet marketplaces operating publicly today, from what I can tell. And there's a lot of suspicious activity going on that makes it sound like it may have been infiltrated by federal agents. We can continue here with your calls and thoughts, though. Storm Crow is on the line, listening, calling us from the highways and byways. Storm Crow, you're on Free Talk Live.
How you doing? I love your show.
Thanks, dude. Go ahead.
Mainly because you can speak proper English, form complete sentences, all that good stuff.
It doesn't take that much to rise above the competition in the radio business, let me tell you, as long as you can stay relatively sober.
Not in Utah. It's pretty easy, you know. So this Dream site, whatever it is, was selling physical, tangible items, right? Something that went through the mail or whatever.
The site itself is just a marketplace, and there are probably thousands of users on that marketplace who are selling to many more thousands of users who are buying, usually drugs, but there are other categories. I don't have it pulled up in front of me at the moment, but sometimes there are some like hacker categories or even stolen credit card information, things like that. I'm not sure if they have that on Dream, but on some of the other sites they have had those things.
Think of it like eBay. So like eBay, if you go and you buy, a sticker on eBay, eBay isn't selling you that sticker. The company that is listing it on eBay is selling
but
it.
But eBay takes a cut in order to allow them to list.
Right.
And so imagine an eBay where you can sell everything that eBay prohibits, and that's what you that's what you've got in the
eBay prohibits.
And everything that eBay allows.
In theory, if somebody wanted to.
So they just facilitate the sale, but somewhere there's a physical item that's being sold, and so could they track that? And could that be tracked back, or is the money just invisible?
So it depends is the answer. The money in this case is Bitcoin, but not always. There was some news, like a year ago, maybe a little more than a year ago, that Alphabet, which is now gone as of this summer, but one of the most popular drug market or Darknet marketplaces had announced that they were going to be accepting Monero in addition to Bitcoin for sales on their site. And Monero is a competitor of Bitcoin. Monero actually was built from the ground up for privacy and anonymity, unlike Bitcoin, which is a public. Well, now people know that, but had you not told people that you own some Monero, then they would never have known because it's very, very private. And so when that happened, the Monero price shot up. As soon as that one Darknet marketplace announced that they were going to start taking Monero, the price of Monero shot up. So there are ways to use an anonymous currency on some of these markets, but I don't know how many of them. First of all, I don't know how many of them exist right now and that are widely used. Dream seems to be one of them. But I don't know if Dream is a Monero-based site. I don't think that it is.
I don't think they were.
So, but to answer your question, Stormcrow, if the seller and the buyer are not federal agents, then there's a good chance that the sale will go through as it is intended, and it will be relatively obscured in that the buyer and seller are supposed to be using encrypted communications to one another. So even if the site is taken over by a federal government and the feds are running the site, as long as the buyer and seller are using encrypted communications properly, then the operator of the site should not be able to tell what they're saying to one another. So I don't know if that answers your question.
You don't want to mess with the Fed's monopoly on the money game, that's for sure.
Or the drug game. I mean, remember, they also control the drug market.
Yeah, and it sounds to me like from everything that's coming out, the child porn and a lot of other stuff. So
yeah,
and that's what I never understood is why and how come they can catch the person viewing porn, but they can't catch the person manufacturing the porn. Explain that to me.
Well, because there are probably very, very few people who are actually manufacturing a product like that. And I don't know what levels of security that they are putting into things, but it's always easier to catch a drug user, or in this case, a porn user, than it is to catch a dealer.
Yeah, but you see even here with this guy on the dark web.
Easier or more profitable?
Oh, both.
To catch the user.
Well, it's more profitable to catch the dealer because they can make a big bust and then steal their drugs or money and then turn them around. What were you saying, Will? I don't know either.
I say if you just bust the users, there's more users than there is dealers. You catch a dealer, then it's a one-time thing. If you leave the dealer alone and let him produce, you have a potential for thousands and thousands of busts.
I see what you're saying, but that is, I mean, as far as drugs is concerned, that's contrary to how busts typically work. They'll bust the users and they'll work their way up the chain and try to find the dealers, which is one of the reasons why the darknets are useful, is because they put layers of anonymity in between buyers and sellers. And so even if you bust a user on the dark web, the user doesn't know who they bought from. All they know is, well, I bought from this username on this website. Right. They don't know who that person is.
But then you have guys like this Cavaleris who just basically write a roadmap for the police to come and pick them up.
Yeah, he was pretty sloppy.
Walk around with a giant neon sign above them that says, I run a dark web drug website. I am a kingpin. Please come arrest me.
And then just waltz right into the Atlanta airport.
For real, yo. I'm just going to fly to America. Why not?
Stormcrow, any other thoughts, questions you want to share?
No, I just really like your show, and I agree that it sounds too easy, too good to be true that they caught this guy with so much sloppy evidence that.
Well, a lot of these guys screw it up. I mean, that we've read the stories of almost all of the takedowns of the major darknet marketplaces, and frequently, with the exception of Silk Road 2, which was infiltrated from day one, which the administrators couldn't have possibly have known that. In a lot of these cases, they really just blew it. And the guy on Silk Road 2 had used his regular email address to buy the hosting account or something. So they even found some sloppy errors on his account.
I'd like to make one more comment.
Yes, sir.
So, have you ever thought about Mexico? How Mexico does not use the U.S. currency, yet it still borders the U.S., but yet it doesn't use the U.S. currency, and you just don't hear much about that. And that's just kind of how do they?
Canada also doesn't use the U.S. currency.
Yeah,
the Bahamas don't use the U.S. currency.
I'm not sure what you're getting at with that point.
Well, I'm just saying that how come the major banks, the banking cartel, how come they have it infiltrated and overthrown the dictators, the presidents, whatever? And force them.
Well, because there's banks in other countries. I mean, that's pretty easy to answer. I mean, there's centralized government banks.
Yeah, but not the oil dollar, not the what do they call it, the petrodollar.
I get what you're saying. You're saying that because the dollar is the big boy on the block, the world's reserve currency in a lot of places, that they can throw their weight around, and that's definitely true. But they don't. The U.S. bankers don't necessarily have enough weight to throw around to displace central banks in every country of the world that has a central bank, and whatever other bankers. I mean, all the bankers in the world want to keep their territory, right? Sort of like drug dealers' territories. Banks have their territory, and the other banks, to some extent, stay out. Thanks for the call tonight. I appreciate it. The toll-free number here is 855-450-FREE, like freedom. But every now and then you'll still see that some banks will come in and buy out, like a foreign bank can come in and buy out banks in other countries. So there's still some foreign influence to some of the U.S. banks, and I'm sure there's, in fact, I think that, is it BBVA that has an influence on one of the Mexican banks? I'm spacing on which one it was, but there is a U.S. bank that has a real close tie to one of the Mexican banks. So, unless you know all the details about who's on the boards of directors of all these organizations, it's really hard to make any affirmative statements about the way it's set up. More coming up. Free Talk Live.
Book Club Radio.
Today we're chatting with Mike Papantonio, leading trial lawyer and prolific author. His latest novel, Law and Vengeance, is a non-stop, action-packed legal thriller. We spoke with him about the book and the real-life issues that inform and inspire his writing.
So what happened with Law and Vengeance was we had a case that came in that we actually handled for a couple of years, where we had a weapons manufacturer that had created a defective gun sight. But they sold a ton of them to the military and to police organizations all over the country. There is a good side and a bad side where it comes to the way that corporate America operates, and that somewhere in there we have regulators and we have government entities that are making sure they play by the rules, but most of the time they aren't playing by the rules, and we don't have the Department of Justice forcing them to play by the rules.
On the heels of the critically acclaimed legal thriller, Law and Disorder, comes Law and Vengeance, the latest novel from famed trial attorney Mike Papantonio. Law and Vengeance follows the law firm of Bergman Dichotomus, who is now in the crosshairs of a weapons manufacturer. But this is not a law firm that plays by all the rules. Based on a real case, Law and Vengeance, the riveting new legal thriller by Mike Papantonio, is available wherever books are sold.
Have you wanted to get into Bitcoin mining but don't want to deal with the hassle and frustration of operating the mining hardware? Let pool.bitcoin.com handle it for you like I did. Just visit pool.bitcoin.com and use their calculator to estimate what you could end up making. You get to decide which Bitcoin you want to mine. If you already have mining equipment, you're invited to join pool.bitcoin.com. Get all the details and get started mining Bitcoin at pool.bitcoin.com.
Are you about to meet the media? If you're about to be interviewed, do their homework for them. Know this about the person who will interview you. He or she is busy, so expect minimal, if any, preparation. He or she doesn't know as much about your topic as you do. He or she isn't as concerned as you are about getting your message out, so you need to take responsibility. Provide a biography and fact sheet, photographs, or other materials that tell your story. Reporters won't be put off if you supply frequently asked questions. Remember, Public Speaking 101, at the end of the speech, what's the one thing you want them to remember? You can download the document I supply to reporters who interview me and squirm through a video that demonstrates how not to conduct your media interview at www.survivalspeech.com. I'm Holland Cook.
LRN.FM is proud to announce our official listening apps for Android and iOS devices. Now you can easily tune into our streams anywhere, anytime on your smartphone or tablet. Just visit apps.lrn.fm or search for LRN.FM in the Android or Apple app stores. Please download, rate us 5 stars, then share the link on your social media and let your friends and family know how you're listening to LRN.FM. Download it now, free at apps.lrn.fm.
There's no better app for tracking the value of cryptocurrencies than CoinCap. I've had a lot of apps for tracking Bitcoin, but none that's ever been able to track 500 digital assets at once. Their best feature is the Altfolio. I love this thing. You enter how many Bitcoins, Ether, Dash, Doge, or whatever else you have, and it tells you how much your crypto is worth. You can watch yourself get rich. If you have crypto, go right now to coincap.io, or you can use the Apple Store or Google Play to get the app. I love CoinCap. coincap.io.
You can sign up to receive the latest about the Liberty Radio Network via our email updates at updates.lrn.fm. That's updates.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live, and we invite you to join us on the radio. Take control of the airwaves at 855-450 free like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. And Skype on in here. Skype username LRN.FM. You're interested in getting into the world of cryptocurrency? You ought to check out the official wallet of Free Talk Live. It's Jaxx, JAXX.io. You can get it on their website or at your favorite app store or Play Store. You can hold on to your Bitcoin, Ether, Dash, and a bunch of other cryptocurrencies. So there's also Shapeshift integration built right in there. It makes it easy to exchange between your currencies. You can go to jaxx.io, JAXX.io. They made it easy to back up your wallet and recover funds with Jaxx. They're striving to give you command over your digital life, coins, contracts, currency, identity, and more. It's your digital command center in the palm of your hand. It's Jaxx, the official wallet of Free Talk Live. As we go to Ricky, he's in Pennsylvania. You're on Free Talk Live. Hello, Ricky.
Brother Ian, good evening. That would be the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania.
What's on your mind tonight, Ricky?
Well, I wanted to give a little update, not only yourself, but also the other gentlemen on the show. You know, I've been talking a lot about the secessionist movement, and I know recently we were speaking, and you pulled up a couple numbers and took a little look at some of that, and there's a serious issue going on here in PA.
What's that?
Well, there are conflicts between Philadelphia and the rest of the Commonwealth. There is a lot of people very concerned. There are a lot of people for secession. I'll give you an example of that, something that happened to me today. I was out with a lady friend visiting, and said, okay, let's get some lunch. Went over, get a pizza. Had to cross the street, right? And before I crossed the street, I'm there, of course, got my battle flag on my back wrapped around me. And there I stand.
You're wearing, hold on, just to be clear for our listeners that may not know, because you haven't really been clear on this call, you're wearing the stars and bars. You're wearing the Southern Confederate flag.
Southern Cross.
The battle flag of the Army of Tennessee.
And you're in Philadelphia.
Wouldn't it be Virginia there, brother?
No.
Brother Will, right?
Yes, actually,
the
no.
Army of
The Virginia flag was almost exactly the same,
but it was square.
Yes,
and it had a white border.
Yep. There you go.
3x5. The 3x5 was the naval jack, and the Tennessee Confederate
flag.
military had adopted it as their standard. But that flag itself was never actually the national flag of the Confederate States.
Nope.
All right, so you were wearing this flag while you were in the streets of Philadelphia?
No. Actually, I was actually in Swiftwater.
Swiftwater, Pennsylvania. All right, I don't know where that is. Is that a little town? It sounds like a town.
Yeah, it kind of is. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So what happened?
Well, I was standing there, went to cross the street, and it was beautiful because all of a sudden I heard beep, 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 as it's going by. And here I got a thumbs up. And then the lady behind this gentleman did the same thing. And I got a lot of comments. I went over, bought my pizza. I pulled out my $2 bills, tell them a little story. I mean, it's been very positive. Now, one of the things I plan to do in the next couple of weeks is I plan to hit District 189 and go down there and have a little chit-chat. I don't plan on pulling any punches,
Who are you going to chit-chat with?
And why?
District 180. Why? Because
District 189? What is that?
State rep district. They've got 235 state reps in Pennsylvania.
I see. Okay.
Right. Now, the reason why is hit a couple topics. I mean, right off the top. I mean, because we're going into this. There's no doubt.
Who's going into what?
We're going into war. Okay, so
you are going into war.
World War III going to happen anyway. My answer is one of the positive things of Pennsylvania, the Commonwealth becoming its own country, is we save the people. We're not part of this.
So it's the idea that Philadelphia, or not Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, I always confuse the two. Is Pennsylvania going to secede from the United States before World War III, or that World War III will push Pennsylvania to leave the United States?
I'd like to see it beforehand, and I know I'm running this a little tight. I'd like to see it beforehand. Let's face it, the only way to do this.
When do you think this is going to break out, World War III? What do you think the timetable is going to be?
Well, before Christmas.
Of which year?
I don't know, man. Trump is in office, and he is pretty stupid.
Yeah,
this year. And I think. And
I'm sorry, you're not going to get a secession movement together in 2 months.
Oh no,
that's not happening.
No. Oh, you can't. Well, here's the thing. One point before I go.
Yeah. Okay.
There's only one way to do this. Okay, and the reality. Anybody remember South Carolina?
Nope. You're going beyond 1 point now. What was the point?
The point is there's only one way to do this.
What's that?
You have a quickie deliberation. Bang, bang, you're done. That's
Who's deliberating?
The people having the quickie, apparently.
Thanks for the call, Ricky.
I have no idea what's going on here.
I'm just curious who all's involved in this quickie.
The statement, I have no idea what's going on here, generally applies to all of Ricky's phone calls. He cannot make sense.
I'm married, so I'm out.
Yeah, he cannot possibly. I mean, we try our best to understand what he's saying. I mean, I got a couple of concepts from him. One, he thinks that World War III is going to occur, and that he thinks it's going to happen before the end of the year.
2.5 months.
Yeah, and he's been on before where he said that he believes it's going to be a race war, is what he believes that it's going to be. So
the Vulcans versus the Klingons.
Sarah, let's go to her. She's in Albuquerque. I'm sure you got something fun for us, Sarah. Go ahead.
Well, the fun part of it is that I just want to point out the difference between the city planning. Is that the regions here, like New Mexico and Arizona, the whole city was planned out after the invent of the automobile. So it was all planned around the cars. So it's very different design compared to the East Coast, where they had the plant, it was already developed before the automobile. So
and what do you feel like that has affected? How has that made life different?
Well, the difference is that every time there's all the accidents that happen in this country happens in this region, like where the whole thing is based around like automobiles. Where, like, for example, like all these roads. Well,
You're saying because the cities were designed with roads in mind, that other places in the country have fewer car accidents.
Right. So she called in kind of about this last night. I'm glad she's sort of said it in a slightly different way. But where we live, this town that they call a city, has been around for a couple hundred years.
Yeah, since the 1700s.
That's right.
Right. It's been around since long before there was this automobile. The city of Boston.
This house that we're broadcasting from outdates the automobile.
Right. The city of Boston was founded, the 1600s, so that the cities were designed without cars in mind. She's saying that because places in New Mexico and Arizona were designed after the advent of the automobile, that it's designed for people to drive and thus run over pedestrians.
Yeah, I get what she's saying. It's absolutely ridiculous. I mean, people still drive in all the other places of the world, and I can tell you the Boston traffic is terrifying.
There are car wrecks
and
in
awful.
Boston.
Thank you for the call, Sarah. More coming up here. This is Free Talk Live.
You've heard the phrase, you are what you eat? Not true. Actually, you are what you can absorb. So if the vitamins and supplements you now take are not being absorbed, what good are they? Introducing Protovite, proprietary liquid system that allows premium quality nutrients to positively affect the blood in an astonishing 5 minutes. Watch our amazing 2-minute live blood cell video at TrueHealthFacts.com. That's TrueHealthFacts.com. Then call 502-410-3411. Protovite is nutrition you can feel. Protovite is nutrition that gets in.
Want revenge on the common housefly? Well, after 10,000 years, someone has finally come up with a better way. The Bug Assault, a miniaturized shotgun, which utilizes ordinary table salt as ammunition. Non-toxic and no batteries required. $39.95 plus shipping and handling. Use discount code GCN and receive 15% off your purchase at bugassault.com. Fire your fly swatter and get your Bug Assault today.
Free Talk Live.
Ms. Maxwell's local council has decided that the pool, which is only 2 feet deep, needs a lifeguard. It's a kiddie pool. As if the lifeguard wasn't enough, she's also been told she must have insurance. The health and safety edict came after she wrote to the city council asking for permission to put a bigger pool in the communal garden outside her home. That was her mistake, asking for permission rather than forgiveness. But nonetheless, not only was she told it was too dangerous, but the council told her to empty the existing pool. The Portsmouth manager defended the ruling yesterday. Nigel Selly said, "We didn't have sufficient assurances that the risks associated with providing such a facility would be well managed. It's a facility. How dare you? How dare you erect this structure on your property?
It's an inflatable pool.
Without our permission."
Free Talk Live, 7 nights a week from 7 to 10 Eastern, live on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
When you hear the word lobbyist, you probably think about greedy corporations, but not all lobbyists are the same. Some are fighting for the freedoms you hold dear. Liberty Lobby LLC is doing just that in New Hampshire, working hard to represent you, not some special interest group. You can help by going to libertylobby.info, where your contribution will give us the tools we need to ensure that your voice is heard. Visit libertylobby.info today to find out more.
You may already know about the Free Talk Live audio-on-demand phone line at 641-793-9660. Did you know that not only can you listen to Free Talk Live via your phone, you can also leave a message and have it delivered to Free Talk Live's hosts? To leave us your thoughts, just dial 641-793-9660. That's 641-793-9660. Press 2 for Free Talk Live, and then hit 0 to leave your message. Is spreading the message of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace around the globe worth $2 per month to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM broadcasts on free-to-air satellite across North and Central America, as well as Sub-Saharan Africa. And we've been available on satellite for free 24/7 since 2010. The LRN.FM free-to-air satellite signal is reaching some of the most oppressive regimes in the world, and there's no doubt our ideas are making an impact. You can learn more about the channel's impact by watching the 3-minute video at fund.lrn.fm. If you'd like to help free minds globally with our ideas of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace, you can donate as little as $2 per month via fund.lrn.fm. You can help us continue and expand our satellite broadcast to multiple continents. Visit fund.lrn.fm today, and thank you for your help. Don't forget to share the link on social media. That's fund.lrn.fm.
What's up next? Visit the Liberty Radio Network program guide to find out at shows.lrn.fm. That's shows.lrn.fm.
It's Free Talk Live, and you can dial toll-free to take control of the airwaves here on Free Talk Live. Our number is 855-450, free like freedom, 855-450-3733. We do have Skype at Skype username LRN.FM. Coming up, if we get the chance, I do want to sneak in this European Commission study, Darryl, that you brought in to talk about here tonight about piracy. Since we've been talking about online things, we talked about the Darknet markets earlier in the show here tonight, and you're certainly still welcome to comment on that. Don't forget to check out freetalklive.com, where you can get interactive in a variety of different ways. And one of those ways is by just, downloading the show and commenting and maybe sharing your favorite episodes on your preferred social media. That makes a difference for us. When people know that you're listening to and enjoying Free Talk Live, they might decide to check it out too, because your taste is just that good. So head on over to freetalklive.com and listen and share, and we certainly appreciate that. In other technology-related news here tonight, and this story I saw last night while you guys were on the air, Darryl, with the Thursday night show.
Yeah, and
I
you mentioned it to me, but we never went over this.
Yeah, it was toward the end of toward the last half of the show, so you probably were already deep in other stuff. But this is interesting and sad news for the people in Venezuela, where if you've been listening to Free Talk Live, you know that every now and then we kind of check in with the news out of Venezuela to see just how bad things are getting there as the country swirls down the toilet bowl of socialism, and the inflation rate just continues to get more insane. Now, I recall, Darryl, it feels to me like the last time we talked about Venezuela that they were at around 19,000 bolivars to $1 in the black market exchange rate.
Sounds about right.
But I don't always remember exactly where it was. Now, as of today, at dollartoday.com, $1 on the black market in Venezuela, and we do have the 2 Bolivar note on the wall there? I think, or is it a 50? I can't tell from here. The third one down.
That's a 2.
That's a 2. So we actually have a 2 Bolivar, the Bolivar Fuerte, because they already replaced
Bolivar.
Right, they already replaced
like
the original Bolivar with this Bolivar. So we know what this looks like because you had purchased some illegally for the person who sold it to you in Venezuela. You purchased
about
online
700 Bolivar Fuerte in total.
What did you pay for that back then? And that was what, several months ago now at this point?
Almost a year ago.
Yeah.
I think I paid $30 maybe.
Did you calculate at the time what the rate per? How many?
I did, and I think I paid
because you were paying above, or you were paying less than what the black market rate was, because you were getting a terrible deal compared to what you could have gotten if you'd walked into Venezuela with $1.
Correct. But I was still paying a good bit more than what the official exchange rate is.
Wasn't it like, I don't know, 2,000 to 4,000 at the time? I'm shooting in the dark as far as
I don't remember. I honestly don't.
Well, now it's 29,000. So it's gone up significantly since just the last time we talked about it. It is 29,000 Bolivar Fuerte per U.S. dollar in the black market. That is how valueless the Bolivar is today. But here's another way to put that in perspective. according to Cointelegraph.com, 1 Bolivar in Venezuela is now equal to approximately 1 Satoshi. Now, a Satoshi is what?
What is a Satoshi?
Satoshi, do you know what it is, right? Well, Satoshi?
It's like a tiny cryptocurrency, like a Fedora.
It's the smallest fraction of a Bitcoin. So the Bitcoin,
to the 8th decimal point.
Right, that's the 8th decimal point of the Bitcoins, and so that is a very, very small amount. Whoa. Right now, you're talking about a fraction of a fraction of a fraction of a penny, basically. So that's what the Bolivar is currently worth there. So 1 Bitcoin in Venezuelan Bolivar is now worth like 100 million. 1 Bitcoin is worth 100 million Bolivar, basically.
Wow.
On the black market?
No. Yes, using the black market exchange rate, which if you go to the way they got these numbers was they actually went to localbitcoins.com, and you can then select Venezuela as your location, and it will show you right now what people in Venezuela are willing to trade for Bitcoins. And it's 1 Bitcoin for every Satoshi, basically. Actually, it's a little bit worse than that right now. Right now, the Satoshi's worth more than the Venezuela Bolivar.
Wow.
Yeah. So that's a huge, huge level of inflation.
How many cryptocurrencies are worth less than the Bolivar?
Cryptocurrencies worth less than the Bolivar? Probably I don't know. That's a good question.
Besides my Fedora coin.
Like Doge would probably be worth less.
I think Dogecoin might be worth more than a Bolivar.
Is probably worth more than a Bolivar.
The last time I looked at the price of a Dogecoin, 1 Dogecoin was worth like 82 Satoshi.
Do the sites like CoinMarketCap and CoinCap actually allow you to change into more obscure currencies? Because, you can go to like coincap.io and, anytime you want, you can go and see the price of a Bitcoin in US dollars. But I do find myself wondering if you can actually
I'm not sure.
Change that
I've
up
got a
on those
website
sites.
that I get obscure cryptocurrencies for free. It's actually how I ended up with my Monero coins that I got was way back in the day when nobody had ever heard of them really. They were sending out bits for free. So
of
you
Monero?
get like 0.0002.
Oh, you talking about like the different fountains?
The faucet.
The faucets?
Yeah, where they would just send you like little bits, little drips of but you would I had like 25 different cryptocurrencies that I was getting like these little tiny amounts of, and none of them are worth anything now except for the Monero, really.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? But I mean, you had the Fedoras and Doge and like all these different ones that at one point in time that you could get from these sites, and then they switch and change and
right.
So the sites do allow you, like CoinMarketCap.com or CoinCap.io, they do allow you to switch the currencies that you're looking at the Bitcoin prices in, but Venezuelan's Bolivar is not one of the options on either of those two sites. So it would be relatively difficult to do the exchanging, but you could probably figure it out.
Right.
But anyway, if you go to localbitcoins.com, you pull up Venezuela, it will then show you what the current market price on local Bitcoins is, and it is currently the Bitcoin is actually the eighth decimal point of a Bitcoin. A Satoshi is currently worth more than 1 Bolivar on local Bitcoin. So it's a terrible milestone for the fall of the country's currency, which, of course, longtime listeners of the show know that the central bank in Venezuela doesn't even print their own money. Correct. They have to hire a printer. They hire a company to print the Venezuelan Bolivar, and that company that they were hiring won't do business with them anymore because they owe them so much money because they're going to pay their bill with the stuff that the company's printing. The company that's printing it wants to get money that they can actually spend somewhere else, so they can't pay for it.
Right, and they should give them some Bitcoin.
Yeah, well, they probably have Bitcoin because in Venezuela it's actually illegal to mine Bitcoin because in Venezuela they subsidize heavily the cost of power into industrial areas, and I guess all the areas, but industrial areas get even more subsidized power. And so if it turns out you're running a Bitcoin mining operation in Venezuela, the secret police are going to be looking for you, and they're going to want to talk to you and put you in handcuffs.
Yeah.
So that's a crazy story, but let's continue talking tech here, Darryl. You've got a story about piracy. For a long time, Recording Industry Association, Motion Picture Association of America, these groups, the various different record labels, they have been saying that piracy is causing them billions of dollars worth of business every single year, that they would be making so much more money, their artists would be happier if only those darned pirates would go away.
Right, and before I get into the article, there's sort of a history of musicians and the music companies coming out against every new form of technology, to where initially records means nobody's going to go see musicians play live, and then cassette tape, well, people can then just record off of the radio. And there's always a boogeyman and reason why they're not making money, but there was a government agency that investigated, and we'll tell you about it.
Coming up, Free Talk Live.
From the first letter of Captain Mark. History is full of flowery documents claiming to limit the power of the crown. But these poetic social contracts have been impotent to prevent the predation. Limited government is a lie they use to keep us submissive. The crown cannot be trusted to abide by its founding charters, nor its treaties, nor even its own rules. The essence of the crown is centralized violence, and I've had enough. That's why I raised my black banner. I am no revolutionary. My aim is not to reset the cycle of violence, but to break it. My aim is an evolved society, invisible to the crown, not a new hierarchy, but decentralized networks with no central figure for the crown to target. If you want your servile life, keep it, but we will not submit to the crown's agenda. And when you are ready to stop being its beast of burden, ready for adventure and opportunity, join us at pirateswithoutborders.com.
Back pain doesn't take vacations. It never celebrates holidays. It's on the job 24/7 to keep your life exactly where it is, in limbo. But it doesn't have to be that way, because Laser Spine Institute can help you take back your life from chronic neck and back pain. With a less than 1-inch incision, our minimally invasive procedures have provided relief to over 60,000 patients with a 97% patient satisfaction rate. So get ready to stand tall and live the life you've imagined for yourself without pain. Are you or a loved one suffering from a bulging disc, herniated disc, spinal stenosis, pinched nerve, or degenerative disc disease? Call our spine care consultants now at
855-510-BACK.
For a no-cost MRI review and to learn more. It's time to say goodbye to chronic neck and back pain.
Call 855-510-BACK to see if laser spine surgery is right for you. That's 855-510-BACK.
What have you got to lose? Laser Spine Institute, the leader in minimally invasive spine surgery.
Hi, I'm Derek J. I don't want a politician to represent me. To me, government is the idea that one group of people can coerce everyone to comply with an edict or face increasing punishments up to and including death. Despite perhaps the most noble of intentions, the best government services are a far cry from what could be provided for by voluntary interactions. Besides, the people who call themselves the government wage wars and put peaceful people in jail for crimes involving no victims. If Starbucks used some of its money to drop bombs, I wouldn't shop there. So why would I support the American empire? The empire does not require my consent.
Derek J's Victimless Crime Spree. Watch it for free and order the Director's Cut DVD at victimlesscrimespree.com. That's victimlesscrimespree.com. There are lots of ways to listen to Free Talk Live. Our podcast has been around since podcasts began, and now the FTL feed is loaded with content besides our full show archives. Did you know that we make it easy for you to customize your podcast subscriptions? We have different feeds, one that includes only our full shows, one with just the Daily Digest, and one with just the Edgington Post. You decide what you listen to. It's quick and easy to customize your feeds at feeds.freetalklive.com. That's feeds.freetalklive.com.
Imagine, if you will, a virtual world, a symbiotic economy with its own currency, where you can barter your services with others. Symbi.com is a marketplace of real people exchanging skills and services, from web developers, marketers, video production specialists, and teachers of all sorts, to gaming consulting or fitness coaching. Symbi.com is a vast world of people trading freely. Take my word for it, it's an adventure you can't afford to miss. Simbi.com.
If you enjoy LRN.FM, please contribute to your favorite shows via their websites and become an amplifier at amp.lrn.fm. That's amp.lrn.fm.
It's Free Talk Live. Dial toll-free. Bring up anything that you want. Our toll-free number is 855-450-FREE. We got enough time for you right now if you want to join us. 855-450-3733. It's Ian, Will, and Darryl in the studio here tonight. And don't forget, if you want to support Free Talk Live, please become an amplifier over at amp.freetalklive.com. It's $5 a month, or you can use Bitcoin. You can use any credit card, PayPal, over at amp.freetalklive.com. AMP stands for Advertise, Market, and Promote. Your $5 a month comes in, we invest it into Free Talk Live, and then we use that to get on more radio stations around the country, bring new internet listeners on board, and expose new people to the ideas of freedom. Which reminds me, I totally spaced it. We're going to get to your story here in a moment about piracy, Darryl, but I almost forgot to mention our brand newest affiliate. So welcome to WOKR AM 1310 in Canandaigua, New York. They are on board for basically most nights of the week. They're going to be doing Tuesday night through Saturday night from midnight to 3. So they're what they call in the business delay broadcasting the show. And actually, listeners in the Canandaigua market may remember Free Talk Live because we used to be on the same station back when it was called WRSB, and that was probably several years ago now. So we're actually back in the very same market at the very same transmitter, but with a different set of call letters. So it's good to be back. And if you're listening to the show, whether you're in Canandaigua or anywhere else, if you are listening in delay, meaning you're not listening live, you can still participate in our show. You just have to remember to call in during our live hours. So if there's some sort of thing that we're talking about tonight, but you didn't get a chance to, listen live, you can just call in tomorrow, anytime between 7 and 10 o'clock at night Eastern time. We'll be here, and we'll take your calls about whatever you want. So, Darryl, you were talking about piracy. This is something that the recording industry has been making a bunch of hullabaloo about for a long time, claiming to be losing billions of dollars to these dastardly pirates at the Pirate Bay and elsewhere that have been torrenting and pirating their software for years.
Well, and people recording TV shows using that damned VHS and using blank cassette tapes to record songs off of the radio.
Right. These are all things that were going to sink the recording industry.
Right. So the European Commission paid about $428,000, the equivalent thereof, for a study on how piracy impacts the sale of copyrighted music, books, video games, and movies. But the European Union never shared the report, possibly because it determined there's absolutely no evidence that piracy is a major problem. The Dutch firm Coley was commissioned to research the impact of piracy for several months, eventually submitting a 304-page report to the European Union in May of 2015. The report concludes, quote, "In general, the results do not show robust statistical evidence of displacement of sales by online copyright infringements. That does not necessarily mean that piracy has no effect, but only that the statistical analysis does not prove within sufficient reliability that there is an effect."
So it's not significant if there's any effect whatsoever.
Correct. The report also found that illegal downloads and streams can actually boost legal sales. According to the report, the only negative link the report found was with major blockbuster films, where they concluded, quote, "The result shows a displacement rate of 40%, which means that for every 10 recent top films watched illegally, 4 fewer films were consumed legally." But there are products that, people wind up, let me look to see if this is any good before I go spend money on it.
Sure.
And there are even some, I don't want to say minor musicians, but, people that aren't Katy Perry, aren't Justin Bieber, they wind up getting exposure through illegal streams.
Sure.
And then people, you know what? I want to go support this person. And then they sign up for their Patreon. They go buy their album. They buy a T-shirt.
Well, I think it's it's industry specific, kind of like what you were saying. Like with anime, you have really good stuff, and like they're crowdsourcing to be able to put that stuff on the air because it's a low profit kind of industry. But then you have the music industry. You have artists like Eminem and Lil Wayne who were able to generate tons and tons of excitement around their music through the bootleg and mixtape, quote unquote mixtape, culture that was going on in the late 2000s. Like when I was working as a DJ, we used to go to this cat who sold bootleg CDs out of, like, he actually rented a storefront.
Wow.
Yeah, and he was
He
there
didn't get shut down?
selling these bootleg CDs, like all mixtape stuff, all these crazy remixes you could never hear anywhere else except for him. And like all the local DJs were going to this guy to get his bootleg remixes, and we were playing those in the clubs instead of the stuff that they were sending us from the labels because it was better. The remixes and the things that they were sending us that we could get from the bootleg guy were better than the things we could get from the label. So we're playing that stuff for the people that are listening in the clubs and getting and that's what's generating all of their sales and their downloads on iTunes and all this kind of stuff is they're coming to the club.
And they have no idea.
And they're the artists know.
Yeah.
People like Eminem and Lil Wayne and stuff, they understand like modern internet marketing for the music industry.
Well, I mean, it's not even that modern. I mean, if you go all the way back, wasn't it the Grateful Dead who encouraged bootlegging of their concerts?
Probably. Well, but then you have things like Chumbawamba who got completely ostracized by the recording industry because like one of their lead singers went out and straight up said, "Shoplift our album." Like she told people, it was the female that was in the group, went out and straight up said, like, go and steal our album, shoplift it if you can't afford it.
That's terrible.
Well, I mean, they're the ones making the money off of it. So to her, she was like, look, it's art, and we think that the record companies are crap and that they kill good music. And so they killed Chumbawamba because she went out and
well, good riddance to them for that, because then you're hurting the record. You know, you're hurting the little guy if you're taking
the
CDs.
Store that you're stealing
the little
from.
Guy. Yeah.
So you might be asking, how did people wind up finding out about this 304-page report that the European Commission did not release in May 2015?
Yeah, it's been 2 years now. So
European Parliament member Julia Reda, who represents the German Pirate Party, filed a Freedom of Information report to get a copy of the document, and then posted it on her personal blog.
Wow.
The European Digital Rights Organization suggested in a blog post of its own that the full contents of the report was intentionally suppressed, pointing to a 2016 academic paper by two commission officials. That paper says movie piracy and display, or rather the paper was titled Movie Piracy and Display Sales in Europe, only mentioned the part of the Coley report that highlights the relationship between piracy and blockbuster film lost sales, and excluded the other findings of the report. Additionally, the paper did not even disclose that the cited information came from Coley's study.
Asphyxiated monkeys.
What do you mean, asphyxiated monkeys?
Well, that was how they released the report on marijuana in the 80s in America.
They had the monkeys' heads trapped, and they just had cannabis smoke go into their face 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
Yeah,
and they were asphyxiating the monkeys, and they were like, "Oh, look, it kills brain cells."
Right.
Asphyxiating
no
monkeys.
oxygen.
I mean, that's what it's the same thing.
Right.
It's asphyxiating monkeys. It's telling you the part of the story they want you to hear to give the impression that the study said what they wanted it to say.
Yeah.
So there you have it. And this is an issue we've been discussing on this show for years. I mean, and it's like anybody that's in the real world and not living in this ridiculous protected class in, for instance, the record industry, the people who live in the real world, they know that their piracy is pretty rampant. That there's a lot of people, and again, the word even sounds so bad. It's just sharing, okay? Let's be clear. Right. It's just sharing. that sharing is somehow this terrible thing, and that, oh my God, we got to crack down and, arrest these kids that are using their grandmother's computer, or arrest grandma because she let her, grandchildren use her computer, and they went and they downloaded some stuff on, via her IP address. And, every now and then we'll see these stories come out, and it's just so sad. I mean, how much money the recording industry spends just trying to enforce their copyrights, trying to enforce these rules. It's just a ridiculous overhead. It's completely unnecessary.
You can't sing Happy Birthday in a movie.
Didn't that change?
I might get you sued.
You actually can. There was a recent court ruling where the courts determined, no, this thing's actually been in the public domain for about 70 years.
So you now can finally sing Happy Birthday at a restaurant, in a movie, or wherever. But for a long time, you were right about that. It just changed within the last year or so. All right, so we'll see you tomorrow night. Join us online at freetalklive.com. Check out Will's fundraiser, launchgood.com/Malik Center. We'll see you tomorrow.
Free Press Publications is an independent, alternative media and publishing company founded in June 2009 with the mission of ensuring a free press for the freedom movement, and is committed to spreading the message of peace, freedom, love, and liberty. FPP also gives new authors an avenue for publishing freedom-oriented material. FPP brings you daily news and commentary on the website fpp.cc, as well as a daily 5-minute newscast, FPP Radio News, and weekly news, views, and commentary in the FPP Freedom Minute and Peace, Love, Liberty Radio at fppradio.com, and the monthly newspaper FPP News at news.fpp.cc. Find FPP online at fpp.cc. That's fpp.cc, as in Creative Commons.
Hi, this is Mark Edge of Free Talk Live. Michael W. Dean's book, User's Manual for the Human Experience, changed my life. In a culture that attempts to turn you into a compliant victim, this book gives you implementable steps on everything from how to be aware of your environment, walking down the street, to business, to how to handle a toxic person in your life. If you're a human, you need to read this book at least once. Go to Amazon and get the Kindle version, or paperback, or an audiobook of A User's Manual for the Human Experience.
Free Talk Live has partnered with Amazon, the largest internet retailer. Imagine a department store category, and Amazon has it. Books, electronics, office products, furniture, jewelry, automotive, toys, clothing, sporting goods, and dozens of other categories. Now you can shop and support Free Talk Live by entering Amazon through our website. Go to shop.freetalklive.com, and Amazon will send us a portion of your purchase. You're going to do the shopping anyway, so remember to enter through our site at shop.freetalklive.com. That's shop.freetalklive.com.
The Torchwood Report is coming up next, live after the news on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
From Keene in the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Darryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Friday, September 29th, 2017. Silver is trading at $16.83 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,286 per ounce. Bitcoin is trading at 3.3 cents, and the average price of Bitcoin is $4,136. Antiwar.com reports the Spanish government continues to escalate raids in the last few days before Catalonia's independence referendum and threatens to arrest more and more Catalan leaders to try to undermine the vote. Police have been raiding printing presses and every place they can think of that might contain ballot boxes and papers, and announced on Thursday that they had seized more than 6 million paper ballots and 100 ballot boxes at a warehouse. The company that owns the sites denies that what was seized was related to the Catalan referendum, rather saying what was seized were the ballot boxes and papers that were provided regularly to the FC Barcelona soccer team. FC Barcelona confirmed that the company indeed does make such provisions, but cannot confirm if it was their ballot boxes that were taken. The Spanish government claims that referendums are inherently undemocratic. Spanish Foreign Minister Alfonso Dastis claims separatists were using Nazi tactics to intimidate opponents, adding, "Referendums are a weapon of choice of dictators." The UN has criticized Spain for cracking down on Catalonia's public. Catalan leaders insist that they are confident the referendum will be held in an orderly fashion, irrespective of the Spanish police actions. For over 40 years, Roberts & Roberts Brokerage has been a trusted source for buying and selling precious metals. Gold, silver, platinum, and palladium. They don't feed the banks. They're Bitcoin preferred and have removed the minimum purchase amount for all orders paid in the digital currency. Call Roberts & Roberts Brokerage today for knowledgeable advice on buying and selling precious metals and a forward-thinking approach to new technologies. 800-874-9760 or visit online at rrbi.co. UPI reports a federal judge in Louisiana has ruled against an anonymous police officer trying to sue the Black Lives Matter movement. The unnamed Baton Rouge police officer brought the suit after he said he was hit by a rock-like object and suffered serious injuries during protest over the police shooting of Alton Sterling, a 37-year-old man who was shot dead while officers pinned him to the ground in 2016. The officer sued Black Lives Matter and associated activist Darryl McKesson, whom the officers claimed in court documents incited the violence. The officer said McKesson and the movement should have known that the physical contact, riot, and demonstration that they staged would become violent. Middle District of Louisiana Chief Judge Brian Jackson dismissed the suit against McKesson and Black Lives Matter. In dropping Black Lives Matter from the suit, Jackson wrote that it represents a social movement that lacks the capacity to be sued. Addressing McKesson's role in the protest and subsequent lawsuit, Jackson wrote the activist was exercising his constitutional right to association and that he solely engaged in protected speech at the demonstration that took place in Baton Rouge. In 2115 New England, there are no borders, no states, and no regulations, yet never has a more peaceful and prosperous place existed. Anarchy in New England by Joe Jarvis is available from Amazon.com and all major bookstores. Reuters reports Apple Incorporated has received more than 4 times as many national security-related requests from the U.S. government in the first half of 2017 versus 1 year ago, according to a company report on Thursday. Apple said it had received between 13,250 and 13,499 national security requests, affecting between 9,000 and 9,249 users. That compares with a range of 2,750 and 2,999 requests, affecting between 2,000 and 2,249 users in the first half of 2016. The requests come in the form of so-called national security letters and requests under the Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Act, or FISA. Apple and other companies report ranges because government rules prevent disclosing precise numbers. Apple declined comment beyond the figures they released. The disclosures are voluntary, and firms like Microsoft and Facebook have yet to report any figures for 2017. Alphabet's Google said they had received between 0 and 499 national security letters requesting information on between 1,000 and 1,499 users in the first half of 2016. Its 2017 FISA request numbers were not yet available. It was not immediately clear what drove the increase in requests to Apple, but Andrew Crocker, staff attorney with the Electronic Frontier Foundation, said the number of government requests to tech companies had been increasing since 2014 when data first started to become available as part of a settlement between tech firms and the federal government. This has been FPP Radio News, online at fppradio.com.
Our very own Tracy met farmer Ray Kimball, who says that his horse, Franklin, has the ability to speak full sentences.
When did you first realize he could talk?
Well, I'd hear him saying things when I was sleeping, and then I'd go out to the barn and we'd have some real conversations.
Can we talk to Franklin?
He can't wait to meet you. Say hi, Franklin. What's that? That's a good one.
What did he say?
He said, "Who's the pretty lady?"
Aw. Franklin, do you like living on the farm?
Yes. Oh, yes. Oh, yeah.
Did he say something?
Tracy, you live here now.
I spent a cozy night at Ray's farmhouse in a room he called the altar. I learned that the farmer has a whole lot more on his mind than just a talking horse.
You are my beloved.
This is the Onion News Network.
And
welcome to the Torchwood Report. I am Matthew Taylor, sitting alongside the one true Niz. Today is Friday, September 29th, 2017, and we have one hell of a show for you guys. So before we get set, I'm going to kick it over to Niz with a couple announcements.